I'm hoping, but we'll see. So,
all right.
What's funny is we didn't even get to like the show notes, so we can basically just start this whole thing from the beginning where it was supposed to start anyway. But yeah, chat if you're there, let me know.
We're live.
We probably
We're
pissed
live on
off so many
Twitch.
people they're not going to come back, but I mean, look, we're on StreamYard, so yay! All right, we're on Twitch. Good. Anybody on YouTube?
Better go back to YouTube and check on it for you guys.
We got a YouTube. All right, so we're good.
All right.
Well, this is the longest intro of a show for Hex that we have ever had. Welcome. We got all the pleasantries and whatnot out of the way, and pre-show chit-chat on air, technical difficulties, real time. I'm spending, I don't know how much Hex just to bring you this one stream. Somebody can do that for $25.
So
I went back to StreamYard.
Can you publish again? Because I'm getting a lot of telegrams that they don't know what channel you're on now. So did you publish again in Telegram and Twitter? Can we all do that?
I will do that right now as well. And yeah, go ahead and have at it while I mute myself.
What is there a link for the YouTube channel?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Put it in the private and we'll copy it out.
Yeah.
Hey, one of these days we need to do one of our walks. Walking together.
You know what? I was thinking that this afternoon. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
Today. I was like, hey, why don't we just walk together? It'll be Big Pep and Hexa walking together.
That would be really cool. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Hey, hit me up whenever you want, man.
Anytime.
I'll schedule it out.
No worries. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it real soon.
Because you gotta, like, you're off work right now, right? So you could.
Yeah, I'm off till the 4th. So we do it this week. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should, because otherwise I won't have as many options during the day.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll probably, if you want to do it, I don't know if you're doing it tomorrow, but I'll be.
Yeah, we can probably do it
tomorrow. All right.
You're what, Mountain Time? I think you're 2 hours behind me.
Yeah, Mountain Time.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Sounds okay. Cool.
Well, Ash684 is happy, so we're good now.
There we go.
All right. So Cabana's muted. I was going to ask him what his list of.
And Johnny, by the way, Johnny, every time I watch your Twitch streams, they lag out. I want they look so entertaining, and I get like 5 seconds, and then it's like, and then blah blah blah.
Well,
whatever Johnny's saying right now is good. I just can't like.
You're in.
If I watch the video from before, it sounds really good. Like it sounds perfect, but when I watch it on Twitch, it doesn't work for some reason. And everybody else was saying the same thing. So I don't know what's going on with that.
I know what's going on. It's stealing internet from my house next door, and I'm in my studio. That's what's going on.
So it's just So it's
Just get an access point and just put a repeater.
Yeah, I tried that once, and I couldn't get the stupid thing to work properly, and. Yeah, so really what it's going to come down to is I'm going to have cable put in over here. I'm going to buy one of those stupid mega boxes that will give me, internet access in my backyard somewhere off in the back 40.
What's the distance between your house and your office as far, because I ran 120 feet just as an Ethernet, just plugged in at a different building and buried the cord.
Yeah, it's about 150 feet. It's about 150 feet. I had a 100-foot cable that I tried to run over here at one time, and then the FedEx guy hit it.
Oh.
Hanging over from building to building, and the FedEx guy backed in here to drop off a delivery and snapped it. The same day I put it in. Oh.
Jeez.
All right, so now are we live again? We're back live again, right?
Oh, we've been live.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been live this whole time, guys.
That was the part where I reintroduced the show, and it was like, oh yeah, we got to retweet out all the links and stuff. So now that all that's been done,
said to watch our mouth. So
yeah,
especially
and you did. Everybody did a good job. So we have all the pre-show chatter out of the way, and what I explained on the other 5 streams that we tried before the evil tech monster got us. Tech monster. That so we're trying to put a bow on the first year of Hex. I'm not going to go through everything I already said, but we had a little just pre-show Bitcoin discussion. But I wanted to go over some of the lows and get some of the negative crap out of the way, and then some of the definitely highs, and maybe look forward to 2021. So the first order of business, I guess, is, I mean, we can start around the room, and we'll start with you. Just go clockwise, Johnny. So for 2020, what was your least favorite moment in Hex?
My least moment. Was there a bad moment?
Well,
Dig deep, bro. Dig deep.
yeah.
I have to really dig deep.
I could get about
because-
20 for you right
Yeah,
now.
I can.
Because the thing is, there really wasn't. There wasn't a bad moment in Hex. It's just the perception of the moment could be perceived as bad, right? Would I have liked to have gotten a bigger payday bonus? Sure. But the fact that people that were going to dump on our heads didn't makes it a little bit better. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with, sure, I would have liked to have more money, but I guess I'll just wait and get more money later. Worst moment in Hex.
All right, Hexo, maybe not 20, but what was
All
the?
right, let me go ahead and get this for you guys.
Get the checklist out.
I actually have all this written down. No, okay. So first off, like I don't like the price was really good. Everything, I love the price, but the people is what really made me stay into Hex. But the backstabbing people really sucked. Like I'm, the first guy that started his own copycat, he tried to befriend me, and we were good friends, and but it's and then they go off and do something else, which kind of sucks. Because you're just like, oh yeah, somebody's cool. It'd be like, if one of you guys just like went and rogue, and it was like, oh, I thought we were cool. Everybody thinks that we're kind of cool, but then you get one guy that's just like right in the back, stabs you right in the back. So that the guy in the shed, that kind of sucks. We were kind of friends. So really, it's more about the people. I actually enjoyed everything in Hex. I mean, the dips suck. But other than the dips, it was mostly a really good. It was really a good year for me. Like I had probably the best year of my life for the last year. I mean, I've made more friends now than I've probably ever made. Awesome people. So
yeah,
no real hate except for some of the people that wanted to go rogue.
Yeah.
What you got, Knut?
Well, my best moment was also my worst moment, and it was when I was hosting Discourse Syndicate while RG3 was out, and I got to host Richard Hart, and then Guy in the Shed was on the stream at the same time, so there was a big blowout, and that's when the whole division so I'm like, yay, I get to be like one-on-one with Richard Hart. I'm running the show, I'm moderating people, and then also cause a divisive rip all at the same time. So that was my best and my worst moment all at the same time. But if I had to choose a second, it would be in April after the Genesis God Whale came in and pumped the price, and I'm like, damn, if I would have gone as big after or before April as I did after April, I'd have billions of Hex. So there's always that. Always the regret you didn't buy enough.
Yeah. All right, Jim. Or funding Jim, Gary.
You're muted.
Yeah,
Gary.
he's muted. He's got to be muted.
So my least favorite is chiming in really with what Hexologist was saying. People that say they have an intention and turncoat, the backstabbing kind of side of things. Maybe that's the humanity side. Maybe that's the internet. Maybe that's some level of I don't really know you. I don't know. But people speak with intention in my regular life. I take them at their word. So that was hurtful. And specifically, he was talking about one particular person, but that's happened a few times. Same sort of friendships, that kind of thing. But you move past it. You understand the principle and your own intentions. So that was my least favorite. Is a couple of times of that happening in this past year.
Pep.
Yeah, I'm right in line with you guys. It's the Unabomber in the woods. That was a low point for me. And I had no personal rapport with Ted Kaczynski, right? So I had no personal rapport with him, as some of you did, but I was disappointed because I felt that he was, sincere initially and was a good addition to the core team, the core Xkins. So that was probably the most disappointing. I think the other things, as far as say Hex, it is tough to find anything about Hex per se specifically that was bad. If there was any low points for me, it's just like KNTX. I didn't buy enough. I've said this in my streams all the time. My only regret with Hex is that I didn't buy enough or didn't buy more when it was a lower price point. I got a little greedy, thinking, well, I had some other stuff come up in life, but I thought that I had a little more time to accumulate a little more at those price points, and then that big whip up. It's like I'm glad to have it for the Hex I hold, but I was pissed that I didn't get a chance to accumulate more. And then Big Payday was, I understood the rationale behind it, but I was disappointed that, it was reduced to the level it was. But I understood the reasoning, so it wasn't really that big of an issue. Those are the other things. But any of those with Hex, I wouldn't call bad things with Hex. It was just if there was any moments where I could look back and say, damn, I wish things were a little different. Probably that.
Yeah, I think I got into this with Kirk on the happy hour a couple weeks ago. Mine was just, and it still is my least favorite, and it's just the lack of acknowledgement from, I guess, Bitcoin OGs or soon to be OGs. Like a modern one is Raul Powell. He's called, he's been on board, crypto and Bitcoin for this entire year. And he's had actually a great call about it. But whenever I bring it up, or whenever anyone else brings it up in a tweet or in a reply about who he should perhaps interview, I'm always there saying Richard and bringing up Hex, and it's just ignored. There's no reason to where it's like, no, I really don't like that coin, or I don't like it because of this. It's just flat out ignored. Same thing goes for Chris Dunn, who's been in Bitcoin for a long time, great Bitcoiner. He's made plenty off of it. I've brought Richard up to him plenty of times, and Hex. And I know many in the community have as well, because I see the tweets. And it's blown off. And the existence of Hex is just, they're in denial about it, because I think it's just their Bitcoin buddies. They would look down upon them, or they would get scolded for, oh, you're talking about scam. And it's at some point, I think it really will get past it. And I think to Johnny's point, as he said before, there's going to come a time where you got to, fess up and be like, okay, I missed it. Are you just going to ignore it forever? So that's probably my least favorite. And it still remains to this day. I'm curious to see how far into 2021 it goes.
Do you think they'll ever fess up though, or do you think that they'll just be like, "I love this new coin called Hex"? Like they'll just
no, I think there'll be a new
act
crop
like
of
they
influencers.
only just saw it. They just thought today,
I think there'll be a new crop of influencers. I think that there's turnover. If you look at 10 years ago, who was talking about crypto? Those people mostly aren't out in the trenches anymore. Either they made enough money to where they retire themselves, and they you don't see a Gavin Wood making commentary and things like that. So you'll just have a new crop of influencers. It's the game of it. They won't come back. They won't come back and say, "Oh, I was wrong." No.
If anything, they'll dig
you're
deeper.
right. They'll go dormant. They might go dormant and then come back. Look at Superman, right? He went dormant, and then now he's trying to make a comeback. And what did the guy make his foundation and his followers on? Tormenting little Kelly on Minecraft. I mean, that's how he got all his street cred, right? So that was his. There was a gamer that he was tormenting, and that's how he got all his street cred, was because he was creating all this drama, and that got all this attention, and people thought it was funny. And then he became a crypto influencer, and then he disappeared because he was pretty much just. He was getting paid to show coins. It showed up on his screen. People saw it, and they made a big deal out of it. And then he disappeared, and then he came back, and now he's trying to, it seems like there's a 3-year cycle in crypto of recycling, right? Where people come back and
Where do the
narratives
influencers go?
Well, and again, you actually, all of us do right now. We don't want to admit it, but we do look at the fact that Data Dash has 330,000, or Ivan has 200,000, or Ian Bellina has X amount, or so-and-so has X amount, or crypto chick that just looks cute has 20,000 followers, whatever, right? So we say that doesn't matter, but it matters. And it can be bought for very cheap. It's very, very cheap to buy that number. So, when we look and say, who is the influencer, who are we listening to, who are we bitching about that's not paying attention to us, wham, there's all kinds of shit we could be doing. But we are kind of leading the integrity route, because, Richard talks about it before. Or there's other people that have influence right now that have 40,000, 50,000 viewers that they built on other shit. They deleted all of their videos, everything, and then they come back and they have influence because they know so much. No, that was a fucking gaming channel. What does that do for you, right? Well, it gets you people listening. So,
well, we're also not doing like the top 5 cryptos of 2021. Like that's easy. If you look at all those, they get the most views.
Yeah,
those are if you look at those, they always in the top 10 cryptos you should be in for 2021. Maybe I should make something like that and just make it all hex and different reasons.
And that they get paid by 5 of those coins to be in that top 5. They get paid. So they don't care about the YouTuber. They don't care about the crush of the person that gets eaten up by Bybit or trading bots. They don't care. They don't care because they already are prepaid before they ever release the video.
Right. Yeah.
So what they do is they buy their audience first. They buy their audience first. They get their numbers up. You can get bots. You can do things to boost your numbers. And then you say, hey, coin, I'll do a review for you if you pay me this much. And then they get their top 5 list, a new list each week. $20,000, by the way, it's $20,000 for these influencers to promote per coin. And that's what they do. That's where they get their money. And that's what it's been. But I mean, this is not what we're doing at all in Hex. I mean, it's a totally different scenario. This is a totally different business model, and we're not working within that business model. So they have no use for us. They're not going to talk about us. We have to talk about them in a lateral way. We have to talk laterally. We can't really kind of. I don't see us trying to convert those big influencers. They just want to pay off.
Right. So what I'm saying is the more that you acknowledge them as big influencers, the more they stay big influencers. Just be an influencer yourself, or promote other people, or do the things that are necessary. How did they get there? Were they just the first guy that commented about something? They got there because, well, I'm not going to say it on stream, but I know how they got there.
As far as influencers go, I don't really care like how many people you're talking to and how many followers you have. What I look at is the effect of your influence on people. Like somebody who may not reach as many people but has a greater impact on the people that they do reach says more to me than how many people you're actually communicating with, if I'm making sense there. I look at the results. Like, I know the effect that Richard has had on me as a result of what he's done. And that says more to me than somebody who's out there, reaching 1 million people, but not having an effect on those 1 million people. They're just, making noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think that what you're saying is if you have people that with Hex, you can see the community growing almost exponentially at this point. Like I can't even keep up with the people that are new on Twitter or new in the chat. Like I had to pretty much stop using Telegram because it was like a completely different group of people than when I started to be in there. It was like, and Richard talks about this in some of his streams. He said that after a year, most of the people that founded a coin or, a year or two, most of them kind of go away. They're not there for the long term because there's only so many noob questions that you can take until you're just like, all right, dude, I've answered this question 700,000 times and I just can't do it anymore. And then a new group of people, and it just kind of brings those new people in. But what Timothy is saying is that Richard, he has influence of people on people that actually go out and do things. Like you don't see somebody inspired by Ivan on Tech, like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go, maybe they go and shill a few coins, but then you're just copying Ivan on Tech, and he's just shilling, the hottest coin, and you've got like maybe 6 months, a year with that, and then you might gain a couple of people and gain a new crowd of people, but they're all going to be wrecked by the end of it. Because you're wrecking your crowd, and nobody wants to be a part of that at the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I hope you guys out there watching right now are smart enough to know that by the time these guys are talking about the coins, they've already acquired their bags, and they're just waiting for you to acquire the bags, and then they're going to dump on your heads. So
it's not just them that's acquired their bags. They acquired their bags, and then their paid groups of followers, filled their bags up, and as well. First, there's a lot of there's kickdowns that have filled their bags before you.
Or they still have them from 2017 when they wrecked their viewers.
Like Ivan charges a bunch of money for a class and then does his show every day. Like they literally tell those people ahead of time, and then then he's there like, oh, look at the chart, look at it go up, and you're like, no shit.
No shit. Not to mention too that as far as influencers go, talking about followers, I mean, for the focused audience and speaking to just one coin, one topic, one agenda, I don't think there's anybody that compares to Hexo. No. So, I mean, Ivan may have 200,000 followers, but they're mostly just randomly tuned in for the latest shitcoin of the week. There's no focus on any other influencer. Really, they're all over the map. And so, like KNTX is saying too, a lot of these get paid on the backside. This coin this week, top 10 is totally different tomorrow. But Hexo's show, I'd say everybody who's following Hexo is a Hexacan, invested, understands, and tries to promote the product, outside, of social media or whatever, to anybody that can onboard. So we probably by that association have a more focused, stronger following, and Hexo's definitely probably got the better percentage of followers that way in relation to the other.
That's an interesting point because, like you said, even if you're an Ethereum maxi.
Oh, go ahead, Funding Jim.
Even if you're an Ethereum maxi, you're talking about 7,000 coins on Ethereum network. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about someone like Hexo that speaks to one coin, one concept of a blockchain CD, and 2,000 people, I don't know how many people watch on a regular basis, but there's a lot of people that watch every single day, every bit of content about Hex. And I don't think you have that kind of momentum in other coins. There's other ones that might be the new kid on the block for the couple of months, like an Elastos Maxi or some particular thing that would go, oh yeah, this is the thing that's new, but they fade. They don't have a year-long launch. They don't have the narrative or the strength of a founder like Richard to speak truth to power. So you have a lot of things working for this particular audience already. And then to have someone like Hexo that's dedicated, others, we contribute as we can, but that's an amazing testament to the coin itself, is to hold that audience attention.
It's true. It's like a what is it, like a smell test kind of thing. Because I've onboarded a lot of people, 40 something, at least people, and I've introduced most people when I give them content to consume to Hex News, and of everybody that most people, even ones that only have Hex and care a lot about it, would rather me tell them the news. They'd rather get it from me weekly or whatever. They talk to me on the phone. It's too much. Hex News is too, it's just too much content of one kind. I can really tell. There's about 4 people that I've onboarded that can't get enough either. And that they're the ones that are going to be able to they're going to onboard 40 people themselves. Because there's that into it, and that's when I get somebody that's like, hey man, you see the whatever on Hex News? I was like, yes, I did, yes sir, I did. I know that's a good character.
It's the same with entrepreneurs. I mean, you'll introduce a business or a concept to people, and 90 of them will pass on it and they'll say, no, that's too much work for me. I'd rather clock in. They'll bitch about the fact that they clock in for 40 years doing the same thing over and over, but they won't do something about it. So
They
it's
won't
the same sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same sort of thing about touchstones.
Yeah, I mean, there's that the whole Chad meme is just the guy who invests in stuff and doesn't pay attention to it, too. That's like just done, got it, So there's there's something to be said for that too. I mean, like
what's the next question, Cabana?
Yeah.
I don't know. You've got like 40 questions up there.
I know.
I'm like, I don't know if I can do this
Yeah.
until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. Cabana's always got the outline. This is what we're going to talk about, guys, and we never stick to it. But
What we do, it just takes us a long time. To get
Yeah, I
through.
don't know if I'm gonna be able. I haven't eaten anything today, guys. I'm still on my fast. Like, I'll wait until after the show. And I'm
Hour with
like,
technical
holy
difficulties.
geez, 7:30 already.
All right, Hexo. Well, since you're next to me now, you're up first. So, what was your least favorite Richard Hart live stream of 2020?
Least favorite.
Yeah, we're getting off the bad first, and then we'll get up to
Yeah. Man, I can't even think of a bad live stream. I don't even want to say it because the person they're not a part of the community per se, but they're around the community per se. So I don't really want to hate on them. But I don't really have one. The worst one ever was that it was Giacomo Zucco, but define worst. Like I love those are the best
that's
ones.
what I was gonna say. Is like that's the worst, best one. That one is
It
least
was
favorite.
awful, but it was also like get him. So like Giacomo Zucco, I hate, because I was a big fan of Giacomo Zucco because he used to go on Tone Vase's show, and he was like, he came across as somebody that was smart, and I was like, oh, he's gonna go on Richard's stream, and they're actually gonna talk that wasn't a live stream, but yeah, for sure.
That was mine. The Richard one.
But yeah, but that Giacomo Zucco was like, I thought he was gonna come in with some intelligence. I thought he was gonna come in with some like actual questions, and they tried to make it like a funny.
It was a troll. It was
he realized the troll wasn't working.
Look how funny that is. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on his face during that interview that like he was literally
spent building that website to look like Hex, putting in all that information, typing that all out, making it look like it did, and then he had his suckbucks thing. He did all of this stuff to be really clever and funny, and it just failed.
Well, that's because Richard didn't go with it. He didn't go with it.
Dude, you can see it. You can see it in his eyes that like he was watching himself realize moment by moment that the longer he sat there, the worse he looked. He was like, he was like looking for the door, man. He was like, I gotta get out of here, man. Yeah.
Well, you guys know how that worked, right? Peter had nothing. He had no ability to attack Richard, so he called his buddy, the tech guy, Giacomo, and then he said, dude, you got to go in. He's like, oh, that's a great idea. We're going to create this whole troll page, and we're going to create this whole troll thing, and we're going to switch it around and talk about our coin that doesn't really exist and make fun of his scam, right? So then Giacomo was trying to agree, and then at the end he tried to shield his coin that didn't exist in his website and all that. It was very elaborate, all of this effort that he put in. And then he didn't know what the hell to do because it all failed. And then he sent the link to Peter. He's like, look, Peter, I'm out here. Go ahead, finish the joke because I'm done. I don't know what to do here. That's what happened.
Yeah, that was an entire mess.
Yes, it was.
How about you, Connor?
Well, I think mine was the Soy Wolf, and it was. I love the way Richard tears all these guys apart. So I enjoy it. There's a great entertainment factor there. But the only thing that I would say makes it top of the list for worst streams for me is that he was trying to perpetuate the people that were trying to destroy Richard and the narrative that they created that was completely false. I've done my research too. And so trying to show that he, was a forger and that he had ripped people off, and there was absolutely no credibility behind it. So the fact that even was released into the ether at all for people to pick up on, and that, you know, obviously a lot of these guys that don't like Richard try to use that as an opportunity to say that the rest of his project's a scam because he scammed in this moment, which was not even true, which wasn't even his case. That can have a negative effect for the people who do see it. Fortunately, Soy Wolf has like absolutely no viewers, and he's losing more every day as he loses them money. So hopefully not a lot of people will see it.
Well, that one was really bad too, because it was just like him like going all the way down to the. That was the best part where he's all the way down in his chair.
Yeah,
and he's just like sitting there like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
just kill me now, just kill me. And the Soy Wolf, he's just talking and talking. He's not even recognizing what Richard's doing, and Richard's just totally making fun of him.
My favorite meme of the year is that like that video, that little like it's a minute video with like Peter McCormick yapping in the one corner and Wolf yapping in the other corner, and Richard just dying in his chair. And it's hello darkness.
It's the best.
Actually, out of all the memes, that is my favorite one.
Yeah,
all the little video snippets of Richard, slumped and just like dreaming of, you know, hello darkness, my old friend.
You can see why Richard didn't like when that was going to go down. He was like, I don't even want to like tweet this out or like I'm not saving this. I'm not putting this on my YouTube. Like this is going to be a shit show. You do.
And then he rug pulled. He got rug pulled. He rug pulled his whole community just like 2 weeks later. It was so like, it was like, you idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the same kid. That's the kid that was the gamer, right? Just to make sure it was the Sniper Wolf, Soy Wolf guy.
No, it was like some kid that was like smoking and drinking on his stream.
Yeah, I won't say his name. I don't want him to get any viewers from it. I'll tell you. I'll telegram you the name. But
I don't think he's old enough to have that kind of facial hair. I think
You worked real hard for that. You worked real hard.
some pubes on or what?
It seemed like he was kind of drunk while he was doing it. It was just like, dude, you might not want to be taking on Richard Hart, like trying to have a debate when you're like super stoned and drunk at the same time. I'm just saying you might want to be like completely sober if you're going against Richard Hart, because he's gonna like cut you in half, man. Like
that's so funny because it's like it's the power of community perception. Like I only know the guy as Soy Wolf. I really don't legit know his name. That's Soy Wolf. Yeah. That's who he became, and yeah. So. Well,
the thing is that the people that have the hypocrisy of having a paid group, maybe hundreds of people or thousands of people coughing up money so that they supposedly are guiding them through safety of the landmine of crypto, the minefield of crypto. And yet, you know, these paid groups, they're like you already said, they're typically, they've already bought their bag. They're going to dump it on that group first, and then that group is going to dump it on people afterwards, right? So it's misaligned incentives. And then you have someone like Richard that puts out years ago all this self-help stuff, these sci-fi books, information that if people actually take it on and digest it, they improve their lives in countless ways. And what did that cost you? What other than your attention to basically start to be receptive to the messages and self-analysis, right? No one wants to be told that they're challenging themselves, that they're in their own way for their own successes. No one wants to hear that. They want to blame it on someone else. And yet Richard has the strength of character to do it, you know, in a public context like the YouTube and the Twitter and things like that, constantly. Maybe way before, I mean, definitely way before crypto ever existed or Hex ever existed. So the best moment as far as the least favorite interview, it comes down to these types of groups. I wouldn't say it's one particular person. I'd say it's the people that are profiting from the misery of the people that are following them. I hate all of those people.
Yeah.
For me, I would have to say my least favorite interview was the first one with Peter McCormick. Not because of Richard, but because of Peter's behavior. I mean, for someone who's supposed to be a journalist, he was behaving like a junior high school kid that was like having a temper tantrum and could not be reasoned with. It's a miracle that Richard had the patience to even deal with that guy. It was just hard to watch because of that. I've never seen such unprofessional conduct in another human being in public like that before. It
I
was
think
just
it
fun to
really
do.
actually benefited Hex for that, because when I show people, when they go, you know, I've heard Hex is a scam or whatever, I'll be like, watch this video. These are the people that are calling it a scam. This guy right here. And people can
This
see.
is a legitimacy right here.
Yeah, it's just like these, you know, most people can understand. Like he even says, I didn't even look at your scam. I just got up off the couch 5 minutes before I even came on here. And I just wanted to call you a scam. I haven't not looked into it for 1 minute. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like you're a journalist and you're gonna say that you haven't even looked into this and you're gonna use that.
That's exactly why I say like he's a fraud. Is no legit journalist would act like that.
Right.
And it's on top of, you know, oh, I don't know, you know, the technical aspects of you cover Bitcoin, at least like know something. You know,
something.
I don't know. Let's ask this guy in the broken down truck what he thinks.
Here comes
Jeez. What is that?
ARG, can you hear?
Sound issues.
Yeah, sound issues.
Is he on his pirate ship?
He said his truck broke down. So.
I'm gonna get into a little bit better place here for you guys. I got to leave with the driver to pick up my rig, and but I'll be back. I'll be on and off here for a second, but I just want to see if I can get on. Looks like everything's cool. You guys can see me, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Dude, you just broke the stream, bro.
Rug pull.
You cover that mug.
Yeah, get him out of here.
My
Probably in his truck talking to himself right now.
yeah, it's
Hey, Pep, did you,
Me?
Banner dropped the hammer on it.
yeah, let's say
Mine's whale pool.
fail
Whale
pool.
pool was the biggest shit show. I couldn't even watch the thing. I was so upset because it got me so frustrated listening to those guys. They were so obnoxious. And we were locked down. I still went and walked around the block. I said, screw it. Came back. It was Genopo. I think it's they said. That guy, he just wanted to kind of punch through the TV, and I got a new TV. I don't want to do that. But all I can say is I hope one day he becomes a real boy. You know? But, yeah, the whole crew, and they were just so, they gave they weren't interested at all. You could tell it was just.
And they picked the youngest guy to vet to bring on the show because there were a lot of us Hexicans in the background just waiting to come on and explain how Hex really works, and they would not allow any of us on.
I was trying, yeah. No, they were just saying, oh, you know, yeah. They tried to attack all the Hexicans, right? They were all a bunch of little bitches and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, game on, you know. But yeah, they're the ones that got their little clique there, and they're hoping to pounce on Rich. But the thing is, in that really all of Richard's interviews, you know, he always stops them, but he held his composure very well through that, considering, you know, those guys were just coming out swinging right from the gate. And he still stomped them. You know, in the end, he was getting pretty frustrated with them, obviously, right? But he would. You know, I had to try to set him straight. But, yeah, that was probably the one that I found. And maybe a split between him, that one, and then that guy, Gavin, with the rules.
Gavin.
It was Depot safety glass.
The safety glasses.
Listen to me, or you scout, listen to me, Eric Rossi, you tell me where you live, or you are scout. You want my address? I give you my address. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, nowhere straight.
yeah. I mean, if I had to come up with another one besides all of those, because those are all pretty bad. And the other one that I thought of that was not favorite to me was the one with Stefan, who the Austrian economics dude, you know, like, because I used to engage in I used to have a very a super strong. I mean, I worked for the Ron Paul campaign, very libertarian-y based in my mind, and so kind of coming along hand in hand with that is I've read a lot of Ludwig Mises, and I know I like that Austrian economic stuff, and I don't prescribe to it as heavily as I used to as in my youth, but boy, oh boy, I could give it a lot better of a fighting chance than that dude did. Like, he did just a piss poor job of even fighting his own side. You know, like, he could have defended his principles like way better than he did, and that's supposed to be his thing. I was like, this is terrible. Like, I like cringed for people who, if you aren't a fan of the style of economics, then you're just like, oh, this guy's doing it.
The best part about that, Big Kurkowski, was afterwards when he got on Twitter and said that Richard Hart was trying to sabotage his internet connection because he lost so bad. He was like, Richard Hart tried to sabotage my connection. It's like,
so is that the one where Richard?
So
like,
one of the ones that comes to my
your
mind
VPN
again
and
is Naomi Brockwell. I thought that was a pretty shitty event because she interviewed for well over an hour someone that basically did code. And that code, for whatever self-interest or whatever purpose, you really didn't explain what Hex was about as far as the game theory or the purpose behind it. And so to spend as much time as she did, I think like 50 minutes or something with that guy, and then the founder of the coin that has a long-term stake and a community of thousands of people involved, to have opportunity as a journalist. She touts herself as a journalist. She holds the microphone at a lot of these different crypto events as the host or whatever it is, MC. And I think she did a piss poor job because it suddenly became too much time to spend more than 5 minutes with the founder, right? What is that as a journalist? And then after the fact, that was like back in March or April, somewhere in there. And then after the fact, once this has realized the community is snowballed, the code is proven to have more uptime than Google. Is ridiculous that she doesn't go back and reanalyze her own journalistic adventure back then and try to remake it and make it whole. So I thought that Naomi was terrible. I thought that the person that she chose as far as the dev that ended up causing FUD for a lot of people, because they just looked at this is a person that's on the inside of the making of the coin. He must have inside knowledge. I thought that was bullshit.
Why disgruntled fired employee and ask his opinion?
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the thing was that it was. Fortunately, Richard came on, was very, very tactical about what his role was. Didn't explain, but it sounded like to me it was just a bad employee that couldn't hold his salt in coding.
He got
and
fired.
He came on all
This
salty.
guy got fired.
Literally got fired. So you're gonna listen to the guy who's salty about whether the project's good or not. Because
I mean, if you're going to interview and you're going to do an expose and you're going to interview the guy that got fired or let go, resigned, whatever, from Tesla, and then he says, hey, the car, I was working on the car, and this is what I did. I did this for the car. And then you have the person that actually creates the concept and and hires thousands of people and things like that, as far as Elon Musk coming on screen. Why would you treat those in any kind of form of equality? They weren't. To give one guy 50 minutes and another guy 5 was ridiculous.
Yep.
The kicker is this. What they have done is they've drawn the conclusion first, right? Mm-hmm. And then they are trying to find people to support the conclusion that they drew. And Richard showing up is not supporting the conclusion that she had already drawn and already planned for. So they're not actually doing journalism. What they're doing is they're spoof pieces, right? They're just they're making the conclusion first and then trying to find the evidence to support it. And unfortunately, all of these interviews that Richard has taken the time to do, they had already drawn the conclusion first, and every single one of them has failed to produce one single shred of accurate information that could ever put into question whether or not Hex is legit or not. No one's ever. They've never been able to talk about
even people like Heidi. Heidi makes all this commentary, crypto tips or whatever. She makes all of this kind of commentary. If you look at her portfolio of what she's commenting about people maybe they should look at and they should get involved with, and you look at her portfolio, they've gone to fucking zero. I mean, she makes horrible calls. And then when she does an interview with Richard, the same sort of thing. She discounts it at the very end, says, well, this is a personality in the space or whatever. I'm like, retarded.
All right,
that word.
We the negative. It's shot, but it's onward and upward from here. So, for your favorite Richard Hart interview, I guess I'll go to you, Hexo, first, since you're right there. I'll just say mine was Simon Dixon, still is, but just I've said that before on stream, so I'm not going to expand on it anymore. But what do you think, Hexo?
I liked the Data Dash one before the launch was really good because it seemed like he actually was asking questions. The new Data Dash one was good too. So that's probably my favorite one. I mean, for obvious reasons, he actually, it wasn't this. Well, why do you? He didn't ask any of the stupid questions. It's actually like he knew what he was doing, which is Data Dash, and that's why he has the most subscribers out of anybody in crypto, is because he's actually intelligent and he actually asks great questions. So that's my favorite one.
KNTX.
I don't know, man. I like so many of them. Now, I'll be honest, it was a good conversation with Simon Dixon, because he's definitely a leader and has his hands in like everything crypto, has like VC'd everything that's gone big in crypto. So it was nice to get that legitimacy from a legitimate conversation back and forth, but it was boring. He didn't get to bash anybody. He didn't get to tear anybody down. And tell them how stupid they were. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to go general broad and say every one of them where you got to call them retards and put them in their place. Those are my favorites.
Gary.
My favorite are Data Dash, and for the same reasons that Hexo said. I think that he looks at precious metals. He's looked at stocks before crypto ever existed. I think that he has this image of a young guy, but his wisdom is evident. I mean, a lot of the things he makes commentary about. He has some big misses in his history as far as trend of what he's commented on, whether it's going to succeed or not. But I think a lot of people that do angel investing and VC stuff, they have misses too. So if you look at his overall portfolio of how he analyzes a product or project, I think that he did well on the first, and I think he did well on the revisit interviews with Richard. So my testimony is really, my favorite is definitely Data Dash.
And I know, Pep, you came on kind of, I guess, midway through, but I mean, I'm guessing you went back or had already seen the interviews before you started making.
I've been watching Richard since 2017.
Okay,
so, yeah, I've been up to speed all along. Conrad Zen was one I thought. I like the Data Dash. I thought the Conrad Zen one was pretty good too. At least it was more of a. It is always fun to watch Richard, smash the plebs. That is very entertaining. But I thought at least when he can have somebody who is at least intelligent, open-minded, and can ask decent questions and kind of explore the product, and Richard can. That kind of interview, people can watch that and get their head around Hex more, and you feel more excited about getting into it, after listening to them discuss all the potential and they understand the markets and things like that. Somebody who actually lets them get out there and talk about it, as it should be, not just try to defend, baseless accusations against it. I thought that was a pretty cool one.
And Kirk, I know we had talked about this on stream, but go ahead. Because
I'll hit it again. So my reasoning is, my favorite is different. I really liked the altcoin buzz with Leah Helpburn, because it's short, it's sweet, it's really digestible. I give it to lots of people, like across the board. My wife liked it the best out of everything, and so like I can give it to girls, guys, whoever, and be like, this is a 28-minute digestible interview that you can really get your head around who Richard is, what Hex is, kind of like a lot of different things, like a lot of different tangents that are there, and it's all right there. It's all right, like right in a quick 28 minutes, and she's she has good questions. It leads him to the answers that he's already going to give her. So it's really well, condensed. It's nice. It's especially for people who haven't have never been introduced to Hex.
People tend to trust attractive people too. So
yeah. I mean, having a good looking.
All your newscasters tend to be attractive people and things like that. Yeah.
Do I have a trustworthy face, guys?
Good looking, and she's got that British accent.
You're asking a bunch of guys if you're attractive, so I don't know.
Maybe one of you guys changed that team. I don't know.
Not doing his hair. What was your favorite Richard interview? You and Tim.
It's muted.
Oh, you're muted. Hold up.
Oh, you muted it while you're brushing hair.
Yeah.
I'll let Tim go first.
My favorite interview, I don't remember who was interviewing Richard. He was at a conference. He was like sitting on a stool and there was like a blue background.
I know.
Richard made a comment that Hex was designed to be a $1 trillion product. And that's the only thing I remember from that interview, but that just hit me like lightning because I knew that was true. I couldn't explain why. I didn't know the math. I just knew Hex is going to be that successful. And like I said, I don't remember where the interview was, who did it. That's the only thing I remember from it. But that in itself is enough for me. That was my favorite of everything.
Sure it was Eric Wall that you're talking about when he did the interview with Eric Wall, which was also one of my top. It was going to be my other one that I was going to
a good one.
It was great because like Eric Wall, like remember he was like, "This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard," and then like by the end of it, he's like, "All right, this is maybe the third stupidest idea."
And we still troll his Twitter today. We're like, the stupidest thing you've ever heard. Look at the price, moron.
Yeah, that shit was great. That shit, I mean, and his you know, his demeanor during it was just like so like blasé, but then at the same time, like man, this thing he couldn't deny because he's a smart dude too. You know, he couldn't deny some of the shit in it. He's like, I didn't. And we're like, that is actually pretty nifty.
Well, and Eric came back pretty friendly about a month ago towards Hex.
Yeah.
If you see how it like before anything, like the OA is just gonna dump. If you don't really read it, you could, you know, anybody could be like, oh, he just, you know, they're just gonna dump it all. But really, once you look at it, you're like, oh, they're probably providing liquidity for you to sell. It seems like a very an angel that is placed upon us for the Hex community. So it's
it's not really an angel placed upon us as so much as it is like just fucking good business, man. It's just like smart, good business. It's looking at what every other company does and what really works, and just like, oh, we can actually code for that, and like doing that. And that, I mean, that's all that it shows how nascent the crypto market is to be like to just not get that shit. Just, you know,
look at the uni distribution and look at the new 1-inch distribution and look at how they're kind of sort of modeling the structure of the OA. Only they're not calling it that, but they're kind of structuring it in that sort of way. They've actually learned from Hex and its success.
Hey, Johnny, I don't think we got your favorite. So before we close this, Luke, who was your favorite Richard interview?
My favorite, I have saved for the piece de resistance. Tone Base versus Richard Hart.
And
that's about all he had to contribute to that conversation was one big, long nothing.
Yep. Yep, and then he brought in a team of lawyers, and he schooled his lawyers too. That was awesome.
On zero in like 36 hours of no sleep.
Yep.
Not the team of lawyers gang squad. I did like that because at the end the girl decided to buy some Hex.
Yep.
That was great. And then they edited that part out, but she did. She's like, oh really? Let me check that out. I'm gonna get some right now.
Yep.
He failed to convince his own damn team, and then they edited it out. That's what's riot. And then he's complaining about one Satoshi Hex. One Satoshi is not worth anything. All it's gonna do, dumbass.
The debate that him and Richard and Tone did, where it's like that's another one of my digestible videos. That like if I wanted somebody to like see Richard in a very like framed context, just tear somebody apart. That's the perfect. I'll give them, hey, go watch this one, and like then
in a debate format.
In a debate format that everyone has to play by the rules to, and Richard does, and just smokes them. You know, like this dude does TA for a living, and like the first question is, what the fuck is going on with Bitcoin's price? And Tone Base is like, I couldn't really explain the run up to 14K. You're like, you're a fucking idiot. What are you even doing? You know, just go.
That was my thing.
Now.
That was it.
We're done here. We're done here.
Who got the Chinese Ponzi? Hey, I'm glad you're a great trader and you understand that. Yep.
Who here thinks that
it was great?
Who here thinks it was amazing, whatever, serendipity or whatever, that one of the reasons I was a fudder, I guess, early on, was I didn't think it would get on an exchange. I didn't think that the force of will of Richard Hart would cave to a Binance or a KuCoin or something like that, and basically buy their way through that gate, right? So I didn't think that a while back. But there was amazing serendipity. And again, I think if there hadn't been a Uniswap, I think it still would have happened, that this would have gotten this momentum and so forth. But isn't that amazing that there was a smart contract that actually came along, sticking to the principles of crypto? That you didn't have to have KYC, you didn't have to have AML, you didn't have to have a checker permission from your government in order to trade, right? And have a value for value kind of exchange trade. So I like that Uniswap existed, and I'm amazed if December 9th or whatever the date was, December 2nd on the launch, and then Uniswap was like around February or something like that, that he didn't know about it. I have to think that he knew about it. What are your thoughts? Do you think that he knew that Uniswap was going to be a play?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I think that the AA system would have been different if he had known about Uniswap.
I agree. Yeah,
because of the fact that the AA, something about it is that like Uniswap is they're moment by moment, trustless, actual market maker. Whereas
I gotta go, guys. I might be having a baby. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
That's bro.
I didn't even know he was pregnant.
We break news here on HEX Live Stream.
I think, but the other thing about that is, you say serendipity, but like in the same way that like 3 dudes invented calculus all at like the same time simultaneously in 3 different parts of the world, or if like the same thing with like natural selection was written about by 3 different dudes almost simultaneously, like that's kind of stuff. Like the basis for these now, like what is needed was there already, and like there just needed to be some synergy between like Uniswap existed, but no one like had this need for it in the way that we did, and then like it showed all this other need for it and all these other projects too. So there's like there was like a symbiotic thing that went on, but like I think that it's kind of serendipity, but it's also kind of evolution in its finest. Like we're both.
It is very much evolutionary, and that's what I think is really awesome about it. Is these gatekeepers are actually becoming obsolete, and this whole ability to have Uniswap and the way it's taking over, and people are realizing that, hey, look, this is actual transparent volume that you can read, and you don't see the wash trading because you can actually see the addresses, and it's really
It's like an organism growing, really, in the sense that like you see that like Bitcoin was created and did offer the cypherpunk values, and like as the need for that, as that became more co-opted, then the need for these values to exist and be useful in other ways was necessary, and like things will find a way, and so like now there's more tools and better ways to do it now. So of course, it's like, what is that, Jurassic Park or something? Like life will find a way, or whatever, like that shit. It's similar. It's the same shit. Like and we did work through it. And with no time to spare either. From it seems like the regulator standpoint.
It's worked perfectly. It just could not have worked any more perfect the way that it's developed, and the automatic market maker. And I mean, now here's a question. Would Uniswap be even utilized if it weren't for HEX?
I mean, we definitely were the catalyst for it becoming popular. Maybe something else would have triggered later on, but
I would have made it eventually. But HEX definitely was the the lighter field to get that thing started.
Yep.
It would just be a playground for
more
ERC20. Yeah, ERC20s.
Yeah, I mean, it might not have gotten if like 80% of what was going on in there was rug pulls and shit like that, it might have gotten a worse name, than it has now. I mean, it's possible.
That's true. I mean, it does have a history with the rug pull business of Uniswap, and how much of that value would have really happened if something as a cornerstone like HEX hadn't been available.
It's like so many other things, though. It's just like if there's great strength in using it for good, there's also a way, like to use it for bad. But like it's Bitcoin it was the same way. It's all that shit is possible. I mean, money is like that. It's so yeah. Uniswap, you give some people you give them the rope to to build something, they're also going to hang themselves.
And the other interesting thing is, see, the exchanges, you had to pay to list your coin on the big exchanges, right? And something like Uniswap, you don't. You just have to provide liquidity. So in all actuality, the big exchanges can delist any coin, right? But the DEXs don't do. They can make it harder for you to find the coins, but they can't stop the coins. So Hex really can't be delisted.
And the thing is providing liquidity too is, it's another form of showing faith in a project. It's, you have to really, you're putting up not just your project's tokens or your product's tokens, you're putting up also Ethereum that's worth money, on that other side. That, like, if you don't have good security or whatever, we've seen it. We've seen ones just get completely drained because there was bad code. So yeah, there's something to be said for that too. And I like that better than just buying your way onto an exchange.
Yeah.
Well, being that there's a bypass now, right? People do not have to pay; they just have to have a product that has market fit, that does what it says it's going to do, and you can put it on Uniswap. And most of the Uniswap stuff were rug pulls, right? But because Hex isn't, it legitimizes Uniswap, and it shows the capability of a coin that has grassroots that can actually outperform the biggest exchange's coin, right?
Yep.
So BNB is getting flipped by us right now. They are the largest exchange, and our coin isn't available on their website, but it is available, and it can't be delisted, and they can't do a damn thing about it.
Yep. Yeah, we already beat out the real biggest exchange, the soon-to-be biggest exchange in Uniswap. We're already beaten there. We had flipped them a long time ago. Sorry.
All right. Well, I posted in this chat a while ago because I thought we were about ready to move to the next topic. So this is kind of how we take a little long time to get to these things. So I'm trying to move through, but it was kind of misunderstood in chat. So I wanted to at least post it here and then explain it, because Children of the Grave started, rattling off the names that we're most familiar with. And it's like, okay, well, who's your soldiers of Hex Mount Rushmore for 2020? And what I meant by this is, these are what I'm referring to as the contributors who are the defenders of Hex, the trolls of the haters, like from Twitter. They just come out, in force for us in the comments, in tweets, in videos. I'm thinking, along the lines of like a Children of the Grave type thing, even though he's rebranding, I hear. So, maybe that won't be for long, but others that come to mind that could, be on that top four. Of course, I think Richard's like the George Washington of it, because nobody's ever going to be the defender or master hater killer like he is. But Lights Out comes to mind. A-Bit, Ross, Papa Boner. Who you all got? Anybody that you're like, man, that guy's got to be up there.
I was gonna say those. I was gonna say Ross, Hex, Papa, and Lights Out are really active in the Twitter community. That are just, if you go into anybody that says Hex, it's already they're already there. They're already like
Sammy.
Crypto Vince
is always on top of shit too. She's awesome. I see her posting pretty all the time on everybody's threads. Vince obviously too. Vince has been like a star champ since day one. He's been kick ass all throughout.
Lots of them, man. There are so many of them, and I interact with so many of them throughout
so if
the day.
You can only pick four.
I can only pick four.
Your Mount
God,
Rushmore.
that is terrible. I can't just pick four because there's so many I interact with, right? Let's.
So what comes while you're thinking? What comes to mind is that Obi-Wan statement: "If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you know." And so I love the Twitter guys that are on that. Basically, they're super interactive. They're also in Telegram. That they put down FUD as quickly as it comes up, almost. But they would be more powerful if they were public, because I can say that out of every tweet I've ever read, ever, I never bought something because of Twitter. I never, ever, ever, ever have bought something because of Twitter. But I've bought things because Hexo was involved, Richard was involved, the public face. I tried to read faces and emotion and body language. Kurkowski, everybody in this stream, you're powerful. And these people that are in Twitter that are also supportive, they should broadcast too, because they can be much more powerful.
Hey, Kirk,
Lights out is always in there, so that's a definite.
Definitely for me.
There's a lady that's not public that has come into all tweets and stuff, and has been doing things that I think gets unrecognized. Hexavist.
Yes.
Have you guys seen her?
Yes.
And she does.
She's awesome.
All along, gets very little recognition, and I think that would be a name to mention.
Nagabo.
Hex to the yes.
Yeah.
Annette gets most of the attention, but Hex to the yes is right in there fighting the war. She's very active. She's got some very quick wit comments that just snatch people up. I'd mentioned Nate J, but he won too damn much money, so now he's usually chiming in to my stuff, and he's usually right there at the battlefront. Hector the Protector is another excellent. There's so many guys. I love all these Hex.
There's way too many to even count because there's been so many people at my stream that if you're modded on my stream, you're on my Rushmore. I've got so many. It was funny because back in the day, it was like on Dlive, it was just all moderators, and people thought I was ridiculous for having it. But then we go to have 2,500 viewers on a 24-hour stream, and it was like, oh, this is why we have so many moderators, because it's going to. I knew it was going to take off at one point, and so it's all those.
I'd say again, Hexavist. She's her and Crypto Events. They've been.
So there's a dude that's another one of those new Hex followers because the right stuff. The stellar dude has been saying a lot of the right stuff. Oh, Hexioda too. Hexioda's all over.
Hexioda's hilarious.
Yeah. Wally Soros has been on some good stuff too. I mean, there's so many, man. There's so many.
Yeah, I can't choose. Love being back to the rest of
and the community is very important, because for us to do get out in front of the camera, it's your damn fault that we get out in front of the camera, because you're out there encouraging our bad behavior.
Yeah. Oh, Richie Rich Crypto, he's in front of the camera. He's putting himself out there, and he's happily doing it all for the Hex, man. And I dig his shit.
You got any defenders in mind, Pep? That just favorites that maybe even in your streams that
we're talking about the Mount Rushmore heads.
Yeah.
I would think the default three would be obviously Richard, Hexo, and RG3. The fourth spot, that's kind of TBD. There's a lot of people I could pick. I mean, Funding Jim would be one, Johnny, Big K, really there's Kinetics, a lot of people that could take that. I'd have a hard time, in top three I can pick easy, but then after that it gets a little tougher to get a front runner.
I mean, Coffee has been the beginning too. Coffee has been streaming since the get-go too.
Wait, are we doing streamers? I thought we were just saying random people that aren't on stream.
Correct.
I'm not a streamer.
Oh! I was like, oh my god!
Yeah. No,
you gave it away.
The guys that fight back on Twitter and in the comments, and it's like, okay, you want to hate on?
Well, look at your own chat and some of the plebs I got to deal with. I smash these people pretty hard in my streams.
Yeah,
look at this pimp that you got in here right now. But I mean, beyond that, I guess I'm a streamer, so it doesn't count. Franklin, definitely. He's the one I think did the videos with the sound over with the downfall with that. Not some of those had me cracking up. Johnny, but he's a streamer and does a lot of the other stuff with the Twitter, I think. I'll be honest with you, I don't follow a lot of people on Twitter, in detail to where I remember their names. I see a lot of funny things come through, or even on Telegram. Who is it? Maybe I don't know. John Wick or somebody. There's a lot of people that come through, on chats that I'm bad with remembering all the names of them. I was thinking streamers when the question came up, so I don't know. a lot of Twitter handles off the top of my head that don't stream that I would remember, I guess.
Right. Well, we were touching on it earlier, and this kind of like segues nicely into the next one. I like, kind of as we're putting a bow on this year, recognizing different parts of the community, which is really good because we're on stream a lot. I mean, some more than others, but it's still cool to call out some names here. And Johnny was talking, Hexavus there, but I just wanted to broaden that a little bit because our female community has turned out to be pretty darn awesome, and it keeps growing, and it seems like it's growing faster. I mean, it's small, but it's growing faster. But who are some, if we can shout out some of your favorite female hexagons? We have some obvious ones, but Hexavus, I think, was a great call because she is kind of under the radar unless you're looking for her, you happen to see some tweets. But who else just kind of strikes you as like, man, that's a top female hexagon, or just a favorite of yours, Hexologist?
You're asking me, or you want to start with Hexo?
We'll just go clockwise. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. For me, it's Sammy. I think Sammy is hilarious on Twitter. You can see
Sammy Chica.
Yeah. She's pretty hilarious. I like
she's awesome.
Her replies, and she's always like replying or liking or retweeting whatever you have. So it's like it gets it out there too. It's like she's very active in our community. So that's it's. The more active I feel like you're just like me because I'm maybe a little bit too active in the community. So I would say, especially my wife. So yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Do you have fundinggym.com?
It's hard to ignore because of the visuals. The nerd girl. I think that I think I'll watch all of her content.
Nerd girl.
She's active on Twitter for all kinds of stuff that's not related to Hex, but still I watch it sometimes.
She got you.
She's gotten much more tactful and much more. I think she's getting really comfortable with those hexagons now. Maybe not so much at first.
She wasn't really sold on being a hexagon for a while. I mean, she's gone more toward Hex over the past several months. Yeah.
And she's getting more clever about her responses on how she's yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a transition. I think we might have scared her a little bit at first, but I think she's warming up to us now.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's an obvious one there. Who you got, Pep?
I'd say probably Serena and Nerd Girl. Two that come to mind.
Yeah, you got my first one, Serena. She's been on like all of our. She's streaming before all of us were streaming. Yep. She's been a champ for a long time. And then the other one that I have is Crypto Nomad Elsie. She's awesome on Twitter. She's always doing kick-ass shit. She's got cool hex merch stuff that she's made up. She's got polls. She's got good content, kick-ass content. She does streaming on, or not streaming, but like content on YouTube and stuff. So yeah.
So we've got the knowns. Let's do another unknown. Savannah Hexwell. Savannah Hexwell has been pretty active. We were hoping to get her over to the German chat.
I'd like to mention Crypty Girl. I've just been really impressed with how mature she is for her age, and the fact that, you know, she was gifted a very large stack of Hex and she staked it rather than dumping it. You know, that says a lot. So I
a lot of it for 5,565.
She staked it for 15 years. Yeah, like 10 million.
It was like, wow, that's
or whatever the number was, 2 million.
Yeah.
2 million.
Yep.
So I threw a shout out for Serena because Big K's right. She was a warrior from the start. She put out one of the very first videos promoting Hex when it was not a popular idea, when Hexa was just starting out his show, and he was feeling a little outnumbered there. Sammy, obviously, I have to agree with you guys on Sammy because she's interactive on everybody's posts. She's got a little bit of interaction on everything, right?
If there was like a social media award, I think she would win.
Yeah.
Every retweet, and it's just like endless love, and then she'll like comment and highlight you and So that's all.
Yeah, those are the warriors that I'm like. Her Vince is another one too. That like I'm active sometimes, but man, whenever I'm active, they've already been active and then some. And then like they're just very, they know how to get that shit done.
Somebody in chat mentioned the net too. That's one that I forgot to mention.
We have Model T Crypto on Twitter, also tweets, quite a bit, and he was putting out a lot of information. I guess his name's Benny. There are a lot of people that have done content over extended periods of time, and we're going to see more of it. But it's like everybody's kind of at a different level of discovery. So it's like when people are following everybody on their journey, they start to get so much more information because there are people at different levels of the process. And I think it's cool that we have people talking about it as they're discovering it. And I think it's been just really interesting.
I agree, man. I agree. It is super cool to watch everybody. And, like we touched on before, there will be new influencers a year from now, whatever, that's just how the market cycles go, I mean, everyone has a reason for doing what we're doing. And I mean, I do think that Hex will have a little bit longer definitely longer staying power in that regard than a lot of other cryptos, because I have a 15-year stake. I will be talking about this for a while.
Well, that's one of the big things with Hex is that you are rewarded for talking about it for 15 years. Like you're not, most of these guys that have Bitcoin, they can sell whatever they want, and then they can hate on it. Which is what sellers do. People that sell their whatever they're holding onto, like Richard says, they hate it afterwards. Well, Hex makes it so you have to like it for 15 years if you stay in, or if you have a 15-year stake. I mean, there's going to be very few that actually are, if there's, the guy in the cabin or in the woods, I think has 10 or 15-year stakes, but I don't know if he obviously doesn't like it, or it's mostly he doesn't like Richard, right?
Attitude about it.
Yeah.
Even though the contract says that you have to complete this, what you say you're going to do, the contract says that, it reinforces it. I think that we talk about it more than any other kind of coin, regardless. And again, the principles of almost like cash on cash. You're saying, okay, I have this, I've staked it, now I'm going to have this amount more. I think that element is different. There's other things that we might call themselves staking coins, but they're not reinforced by code. They're not master nodes and all this other kind of thing too. They're supposed to give you more of a share of whatever gets processed or whatever. It's like the comic book collector or the coin collector or the classic car collector. You'll talk about it. You'll go to the shows. You'll be involved in that community because you are a stakeholder, right? And it's the same sort of thing for me. It's an emotional connection as well as a financial one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's in a way that there never has been before. That's the other thing too, is it's like truly a way that there never has been before, in the sense that like you can do everything else before this you could have sold. You can sell a 30-year mortgage home. You can sell anything. There's nothing as directly yours as. I mean, the only people that can really benefit from this besides you. If you don't finish a stake, is your like family. Like that's about it. Like other than that. Or the staking class if you have emergency on stake early. But like, yeah, it's a unique piece of Hex that I imagine that we'll see other products in the future that attempt to capitalize on what Hex has done and will offer longer terms. Like 15 years, you think that the 15 years is going to be all? I like Richard had thought of doing 50 years, He chose to limit it because of the limitations of the current technology.
True. I wonder if it could be on level 2.
Yeah, I wonder that too.
So, like, I'm just saying.
Guess not. I guess it couldn't, because you'd have to do the T-shirts and such. Probably would be.
Just in general,
I have
you have to, like another product at some point in time could come along. I'm just saying that like somebody else out there is going to. Sees this and will try and capitalize on the time value of money, and like why that's unique is part of it is because it's not just what money that we're talking about. It's also longevity and your wellness, because you have to finish a 15-year stake because you can't transfer your private keys to, like I said, anybody besides basically your family. There's a connectivity to that that's unique and like people, we already feel it. People are after Cabana's challenge, we all are talking about these kinds of things like staying alive longer to appreciate that stuff. And we're only looking at 15-year stakes, but like somebody will find the technology out there, the usefulness out there in building a 50-year staking engine. I mean, at some point in time, I'm not saying it's going to be better, or anything, but like if people make, a tire, they make it bigger, then somebody else makes it smaller, then they make it 7 different, thicker, wider, whatever. It's just how shit goes.
The kicker is there has never been an asset ever with a 15-year commitment.
That is the kicker. You're right. That's what I'm basically,
Like a 15-year commitment where you really do have to serve that term or penalization. So this is revolutionary in itself. It's unheard of that anybody drops $1 million and said, yeah, I'll pick that up 15 years later. But it happened. It happened in HEX, right? So I don't know. I think it might take longer we've got the first mover advantage because HEX is the first of its kind. It's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum, it is something new, it is something different, right? Mm-hmm. And it may run on Ethereum, but it's not Ethereum. It is the first of its kind. It is the first one that actually has the truth engine, and it's a complete modification on behaviors in general. And it changes your goals and everything. So this is a phenomenon that has to really catch on before the next one comes along and tries to actually replicate what's done here. And by the time they come along to replicate what's been done here, people are already going to know HEX is going to be like the Kleenex of staking ladders, and CD.
Right. So I agree with that. I wasn't saying there's going to be it's going to be a long time before something ever unseats this, but like
we'll be dead, Big K.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's for sure. I feel you. I think that another thing that I explored, I've been thinking about a bunch since I remember I was watching a stream with a bunch of y'all folks that have been in the military, is that like the interesting thing about how military folks seem to catch on to HEX a lot quicker than others, and like I get the reason why is because of the commitment value. There's very few things when you sign on a line you're like you ain't leaving for 4 years. You're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Yeah, you can't emergency end stake that.
No emergency end staking.
And there is no commitment in crypto. There is just the short term, except for now we've got HEX, which actually requires commitment. So
that's why trading is such a big thing. It's big for everybody in Bitcoin and all of these other things. It's like you get in to be a trader. Like that's why you see it, and it's like all this shiny. I mean, if I go on my Instagram channel, that I have all of my Instagram that I've liked and followed everybody that does crypto, just because that brings people onto my Instagram. But if you look down on it, or if you look at all their pictures, it's, do you want to live this lifestyle? And it's piles of money, or look, I made 100,000x last year just in trading, and it's like, yeah.
And it's a celebrity trader thing too, right? Yep. It's the glamorous lifestyle of the trader. The glamorous lifestyle of most traders, broke, living in their mom's basement. Don't fall for that. Okay, staking HEX.
That's they're in their mom's basement. Probably wreck that.
The thing is, a lot of guys like war movies, but not many guys sign a contract and say, if there's war, I'm going. Sure. So I think that's one of those gravitas kind of things about the people inside of HEX. A lot of us do have a military experience. And so you can be attracted to something, think it's glamorous. You're going to be John Wayne, in a war movie or something. But when you actually say, okay, sign here, here's a 4-year commitment. And by the way, you're deploying in 3 weeks, right? So a lot of people don't do that. Nobody does it really in crypto except for HEX. I haven't seen that kind of commitment.
Crypto, it's Black Ops, Call of Duty.
yeah, TV shows, right?
Mom, knock it off! I'm trying to work out here. Talking to the boys.
Respawn.
Yeah, that's why they don't. That's why it's like, I mean, just a foreign concept. You know, it's been really hard for people to wrap their heads around when they hear about this. They think when you lock up your coins like that, like you see it, whether it's whale pool, whatever. Their fucking first reaction is to straight up laugh, like you know, like they don't even. That's how blinded to the idea of the usefulness of it that they can't even comprehend it.
And they're the same people that make their money off of touting the principles of crypto and saying that this is a store of value. This is why would you bet on anything else? Why would you buy any other asset other than coin A, B, C, D? They're the same people that laugh at somebody that actually commits. It's retarded.
But also use my Bybit link for this store of value. This thing that the store for years. Also use my Bybit link. It's like, wait, what?
All is like whatever.
Trade it away.
Yeah, whatever happened to that HODL term? Like, I mean, where did that even come from? Is it like just a big joke? You know?
Yeah.
Because they profit off of every trade for that whole lifespan of that trader.
Yep.
Oh, we lost the guy in the truck again. Oh, hello, friend.
Hey, RG3. Oh, that's Johnny.
Click my Bybit link down below, if you would, please. Just click my Bybit link. That's what I need you for.
Thank you for that update.
There's Stripe.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So
he was mean, man.
Stripe was an asshole.
I put this kind of like like an intermission break. This is mainly for Hexo and RG3, but RG3 is not here. But I just wanted to touch on two of the biggest shows that we have as a Hex community. So I did have a couple questions for Hexo, just for the Hex news. So just in all of 2020, and this is just part 1 of 2. What was and I know there were a bunch, and I've witnessed many of them as they have in live. What was the funniest moment that you think was? Can you pick one in 2020?
Well, a lot of people think that the bunga moment, and that was, in retrospect, it was pretty funny, but at the time it was very, very frustrating, which I think is what brought a lot of people into it, because I was like, God, bunga, please give me your address.
Great.
Oh man, so you can tell that he was trying to be sneaky about it, but I just wanted to give it away, and I was just like, I'm so tired of this.
Yeah, watching your pain was enjoyable for that. When you're,
I knew it. Everybody was enjoying my pain. They're like, oh man, my most enjoyable moment. I mean, really,
funniest.
Oh, funniest moment.
Yeah, enjoyable is probably next.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's been so many, and I mean, literally the community is hilarious. They make me laugh. Well, you guys have seen it. Everybody thinks that I laugh too much, but honestly, when some of these comments, I could just especially if I've seen your face before and you make a comment that makes me laugh, I can for some reason I can put your face onto it and you're talking to me, but I'm saying it in my voice. So it's really almost daily. I have that's why I like hanging out with a lot of you guys, because it's for chat. But yeah, I mean, bunga was pretty good. Man,
I'm here. You better mention your puppet.
Oh, the puppet was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You guys got to. What are you guys? Do you guys have any favorite moments? You guys probably know them better than I do. I do this every day, so I do it every day. I have always favorite moments.
I have a favorite moment.
What's that?
My favorite moment is when Hexo and Richard are having a stream together, and it was just the two of them, and it was after the so what's next, whatever, and it was just Richard saying that he was in a good place. I remember him commenting that he was in a good place, maybe emotionally, maybe just as far as the peacefulness about the launch phase being at least close to being over with, and that's part of the thing is we look up to him because he's been a warrior for the concept and the coin, and defending others and all these other kinds of things about the principles of success. So when he has these human moments, it's easy to see the human moment when he's laying waste to people that are plebs and idiots, right? That's oh yeah, that's my hero, whatever. But I like that he also sometimes shows those sides of it, and I only saw it really on a Hexo show.
Yeah.
I know he's gone through different challenges as far as his dog passing away and, you know, the longevity purpose and things like that. But I do appreciate that, you know, he shares some of his personal life with us as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Hex is so easy, even a baby can do it video. That's
Awesome. That's a great one.
That's a good one, man.
That was awesome. Stealing the credit card. That was, yeah, I love that montage. That was great.
Yeah.
My favorite's when RG3 opened the show with like a 5 or 10 minute rant muted. And it's like, you know, and it went on. It was at least 5 or 6 minutes, maybe more. And then he finally realized, and he's, oh, damn it, he has to restart the whole thing over. So, yeah. And he did it a few times like that, but there was one he went on for quite a while.
He did it
that he
just
was
the other,
muted.
I think last night. I think he did that last
Did
night.
he?
Yeah.
There's like little things that I like, you know, that I just love, like, because I'm used to them, or like, you know, have been whenever somebody would sub to you and it would like scare Vitalik would like scare you. That was, like, you know, that shit's great. I just, like,
That wasn't even. I wasn't even acting. That was for real.
No,
that scared me so bad. I was like, "Oh, geez."
I know what RG's favorite moment is.
What's that?
When he called us all up, got us all together, gathered us all up, made sure that we all got on
Oh my
screen,
gosh!
and then, including Kyle, and then pulled the plug on us because he had a totally different separate room for the girls to come in and mutiny the ship and take over the channel. And then he had a beautiful video that he put together, or Ministry of Hex put together for the girls, that they did the countdown and everything, and they actually took over Discord for one night where we had all the ladies. And that was RG's favorite moment for kicking us all out. He loved it. That old man was sitting back going, at us all because he thought it was so damn funny. I remember that.
Yep, that was great.
Yeah, I really felt bad for Kyle, as Motley says.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just like, I'm here for what? What the,
Yeah.
okay.
I felt bad about that.
Cabana started his own stream because he's like, well, screw you then. We got to do this too.
No, that was Litecoin.
Yeah, it was Litecoin.
Litecoin, wasn't you? I thought you were behind the mutiny.
No, I was definitely on it, but that was all dollar cost crypto, Hex, Jesus, Litecoin, Moses.
Other 30 names.
Yeah.
That guy's like Sybil. He's got 9 characters.
Yeah, he likes to rebrand.
Multiple personalities.
All right, what was my second question? Oh, yeah, it was more of like just an overall, and again for Hexo, but everybody else can chime in too. What was your favorite just overall moment of the news?
It was.
I liked all the lemons that came in on Big Payday.
Yeah, that was lots of fun. The final.
That was a good time. That was a good time.
Final countdown, flying lemons. What was that? Lemons?
Steph said that the next day, he was like, I thought it was so funny that we were having so much fun, and you could see the price just printing a huge red candle, and we're just like partying it up, and we're like, yeah. I mean, what other community is partying when the price is going down? I mean, other than Hex.
Yeah, but the price was only going down that much. We started.
Right. Yeah.
He was just talking about the Joker raid. I think that was a pretty good find. I mean, as far as a diamond in the Dlive community outside of what we already knew, I think he's been.
Yeah, and considering everything else that's happened with him recently, you know, like I'm really glad that we met him, and with us too. You know, changing, you know, working on different platforms more. You know, like I think that it was a great that we found him when we did, and we're, you know, he's as into it as he is.
And he doesn't, you know, initially, if you just saw his channel, you wouldn't think that this is going to be a crazy high intellect, you know, military spec op kind of guy or whatever. But yeah, it's a good guy.
And psychologist nonetheless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other
Isn't
favorites?
it strange, as crazy as we are, we have all these mental professionals?
We always have resources.
Overall.
Discord Syndicate, yeah, it's like we kind of need that because it's the show that we deserve or don't deserve.
Yeah.
I mean, I really dug what, like, the first time that Ski Cat showed up and started stuffing stuffing lemons in your shit, you know, because the first time he came, he came and gave away a few ninjets right at once, and you're just like, what the, you know. That's
and
awesome.
me and Ski Cat, I know that nobody really knows him except for me, but we like talk for hours every week, like a few times a week, like 3 or 4 hours. And by the way, it's not Richard Hart, so don't worry, guys. Like a lot of people are like, it's Richard Hart. I'm like, no, it's not Richard Hart. I promise you.
Yeah, like, no, other people.
He's a really cool dude. He's like, you know, he's he's Ski Cat, so he's a cool dude. But yeah, it was a really good time. That was probably my favorite time. My overall happiest moment, I think, of all of my streaming throughout the whole year is when I got kicked off of YouTube, and then I went straight to Dlive, and we had everybody almost into my Dlive chat that exact same night. And it was just like, wow, you know, I thought I was going to start it up. I was actually considering just not even streaming anymore at that point. I was just like, nah, you know, it sucks. I was having 300 or 400 people watching the show at that time. And then it just got taken off. And then I was like, man, I'll just let it go. Like, I don't really need to do it. But then, you know, I was like, nah, I'll just stream for a couple more days or something to see if it goes. And everybody came over to Dlive. I mean, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people still came to Dlive, and it turned out to be really good actually, because it made me. So I was like, oh, dude, yeah, I'm not just gonna bow down to these YouTube censorship people. That it was probably just the Bitcoiners.
That's a real testament to you and your show too, Hexo.
What's that, Pep?
That's a real testament to you and your show. I don't think there's many influencers that would have a mass following to another platform like that.
True.
Even some of the bigger ones.
We wanted it, man. We were like, the news was like, I mean, it's been for a while. Like I said, I mean, I was like, if it wasn't for like your stream, dude, like if it, like that made like the hard times bearable, you know, like there were some moments in there where it was like it's, you know, like, you know that you shouldn't succumb to the FUD. It doesn't matter if Richard and everybody else has told you that. I mean, it's still hard, you know, and having people that were streaming, you know, like made it easy. It's, you know, it's like a nice, like, everything's gonna be fine. We're all here. Nothing's changed. It's all fine. News is here. It's like it was yesterday. We'll be here tomorrow.
That's you know, there's a lot of people that have force of will and the strength and you know, fight through things. But Hexo's personality, really, you know, like even doing like the dance or whatever, when Ski Cat would drop something, we were like, do this. I was like, man, this is like an exotic dancer. He's like, you know, for a ninja, he's like doing a Running Man thing or whatever. Like, this is awesome. And the personality, I mean, it is glue. It's glue for the community in general. Glad that you do this. Yeah.
Glue comes on. I gotta get on stick sometime.
Every day since launch. Every day since launch. Streamed every day since launch. COVID. Giving birth to his child. Yes. He streamed every single day since launch. Never before has anybody representing any crypto community streamed 300 and some odd days straight through everything.
For the same token. Yeah.
Well, it makes it, you know, and I have the mindset that it's just like the crypto. The crypto is going to be there. I'm going to be there. You know, it keeps coming back every day. It's reliable. You got to have it. You know, it's up. It has 100% uptime. Well, so does Hexo. Hexo's show's got 100% uptime. Doesn't matter if I've got to stream a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. I've done it. You know, power was out a few times here. I had to go out to do it on my phone, but you know, I'm gonna do it. So I think that it's I don't know, having that for the community, for me, it like, you guys might think that it's you know, it was good for you guys, but it was really good for me. I mean, there was tons of times like where I wanted to come to the FUD, and where I'm just like, oh my gosh, but then I come to you guys and you guys are all, you know, like making jokes or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like we're under Richard Hart's wing over here, where it's like, yo, it's not that bad. We're not, you know, we just gotta really live day by day in those times where there's a red candle, where there's a huge red candle, and we just get past that before the And then we get days like what we had today, or the last 2 days, where it's 20 or 30%. Those are the days we really live for, right?
You definitely made it a lot easier, even though the code and the founder and things like that have their attraction. You really made it a lot easier. Just amazing. Really appreciate
This
you.
guy,
Yeah, it's that even keelness about it too has helped us all. Like, I mean, whether like, you know, sometimes there would be 20% up days, like, you know, and then there, and we'd be cool. It's cool, kick ass, but like, you know, it's not like we're losing our shits about it. And same thing on 20% down days. You're like, yeah, it's part of it, you know, it's all good. I wish it was more. Who is selling? Who are these people? You know,
Who are you? Who's selling? Tell me now.
No, it really brought everybody out and a lot of cohesiveness in the community. And you're right, he's confident as we all were and followed Richard for a long time and didn't really have doubts in the product. But there was so much FUD. And a lot of times, maybe before Hexo's show and then before Discourse and all that, you really started to sometimes wonder, well, am I the only one? You know, or you just feel kind of like out in left field a little bit. I mean, you watch Richard, you watch some others, but then when Hexo came on and then you saw the community rise to that and come together, and you said, okay, these are my people, right? We're all on the same page here, and you know, and then also during the lockdowns, for me anyway, it was the one high point of the day, something to look forward to at the end of the day. And it was a rough time for everybody. So, you know, it was very good.
yeah,
I did
mean,
have like this freak out one time. It was like when the copycat coin, he started to say he was going to call the SEC and all this other nonsense. And I got a knock on my door, and my wife comes running to the bedroom and was like, "It's the police." And this was at the same exact time. And I was just like waking up like, oh my gosh, here it goes. I'm going to jail, guys. It's all over. I did it. I shielded the wrong coin. Take me away. But it was the next door neighbors. It was the biker gang. They had done something.
Yeah.
So I just went out there, you know, head down and everything. I was like, all right, you know, they were like, oh, have you seen your neighbors? And I was like, oh, I skirted that one. So that was one of my that was like happiest moment in the Hex. That was where I was, because that was when like Peter McCormick and the other guy, they were all fudding. It was like there was a couple weeks there, guys, where it was rough for me to do my show because it was like, I don't know, man. Like I know that everything that Richard said for the last few years, like I believe him. Like I'm pretty good at reading people. I'm pretty good. Like if somebody's lying to me or whatever, I guess GT is maybe not that, or the guy in the woods, excuse me, is not the best.
Unabomber.
Yeah, Unabomber. But other than that, it's like I feel like I'm pretty good at reading people. But so I could tell Richard. You know, I'm pretty. I feel like I've watched enough of Richard where I'm like, okay, I know that this guy's not. He's a decent dude. And so I just kind of just went in, just cops.
Don't you go with all that. I inhaled my spit in my Hexo, buddy, old pal. Watching you suffer through some of these times is what brought people like me out of the depths, right? Because, you know, I see you and you are very inspiring. You have stuck with this. You have suffered through the flood. You have got screamed at, made fun of, everything else. And that just pissed me off. So, you know, and originally I was like, yeah, okay, well, let me, you know, and that's where the whole puppet concept came from was, you know, I wanted to get you something to help you with your show. That would be, you know, I wanted to poke a little fun back because people were being harsh on you, man. They were being really harsh on you. I got really pissed off at that. Was that the whale pool with Cultivate and
No. Guys, a different people.
I was just, because they had
it was DJ Jazzy Jeff and Bull Cut Bill is what was going on there, and they were talking smack about you, and I was like, all right, game on. Mama's boys here talking shit about Hexo, you know? It's like this, we're not gonna have this shit.
That one was so weird because they like had me on their show. They were very nice to me. We stayed afterwards. They were very cordial and like, hey, you should do this if you want to build up your audience. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then 2 weeks later, it was like
Sucker punch.
what a bunch of dumb idiots, this guy. And it was just like, wait, what? I thought we were cool, guys. Like, what is happening? That's just happened. Like, now people are like, hey, can I call you on the phone on Telegram all the time? And I'm like, unless I've seen you on stream, bro, I don't know, man. Like, there's some people gunning for me out here that are just not looking for my best interest at this point. So I'm gonna have to take a rain check on all of those. So yeah, it's been
personalities with it, that kind of
evil,
stuff.
when that evil last digit show up on your phone, and they that's me. You need to save that in your files because I have tried to call you.
Oh no, I got yours. You only called me once, I think. I got yours on here.
There's 3. You
I
missed.
feel bad about people that get, they look for a shorter shortcut to being wealthy, and then they get derailed off of Hex or whatever. I hate that. Like
they get a shortcut.
Well, they get a shorter shortcut. They think they found some tunnel through some other mechanism, and it just doesn't work out right.
There is somebody that did that where it was just like they're back in the community now, but they thought that they would get rich quick scheme, and then it was like, oh, I'm gonna get rich, and then I'm gonna, and then you could. And one of the big things I think that the big payday showed who was really in Hex, who really was in it for the long run, because you could see people after the big payday, they completely flipped where they're just like, this is, like whatever they want. Mm-hmm. They fell for the FUD, or they were fudding themselves, or they were like super concern trolls. And you're like, dude, you've been in here for like the last 150 days, maybe 200 days. And that's where I just start blocking people. Because at this point, I'm just like, dude, I don't need any more FUD, bro. Like I've fudded myself out for the last year. I've heard it all. You can't tell me anything different that is going to be like, oh wow, that's a new piece. It's whatever at this point. It's like I've got stakes for 15 years, and if you're fudding your own bags, you're just ridiculous. If you have some and you're fudding your bags, like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Like, that's like to go, like that's going to wearing or drinking Coca-Cola at the Pepsi conference and just telling everybody this is the best. It's just like, dude, don't do that, man. You're hating on your own. You're hating on your own brand. It's just so dumb, especially with bags you have.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of related, but this is more of a general overarching question. This is like the entire product, from beginning of 2020 or 2020 till now. What was your favorite overall moment in Hex? And I'll give you mine or one of them just as an example. And of course, the end of the launch phase on your stream Hexo was just outstanding. I'll never forget that. That was awesome. But my favorite moment, personally, just because it equated to mad gains, was like one of those God whale buys. I think the very first one in like April. Mm-hmm. And I'm like sitting on the couch, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just open up the chart or whatever on my phone, because it was like raining outside and it was like nothing to do. And I was like, there was just this green candle. And actually, no, I checked one of the stat sites first, and the price had like moved like 5-10x, something like that. And I was like, what? No. And then I checked the chart, and there was just this giant green candle, and then it didn't come back down. That was just amazing to me. And that's one of those things I'll never forget in terms of being like a Hex staker. Not that I could do anything with it, but I was just like, oh man. So. Well,
it's cool to watch your bags grow at that. Oh, you're like, holy sweet. And it hasn't gone back down to those prices since. So that's even more amazing. Yeah. So mine, for my overall, mine would be like all of the streams that I've done with Richard, because Richard was such like an inspiration for me when like back in 2017, when I first started watching him. I was like, this guy's freaking brilliant. Like, I started watching him with BCH when the BCH fork happened, and all of these other, and that's, I can't remember if it was before that, but that was one that I have like written down on a notepad, because I wrote down like all of the, how to get the BCH fork and how to start up a VM or like a sandbox kind of computer and how to do it. And so I learned that from Richard. And then since then I've been following him. And so it's been really like, he's just been kind of an inspiration for me. And then when I got to meet him, I was just like, whoa, this is, my first one was probably, I was probably stumbling over my words, but after that, it's like now I feel like we're kind of, buds, I guess. We don't talk like a whole lot other than streaming, but we're still, like Richard's cool, man. I think he's a cool dude. Like I've come to like know, like personally, because of our streams, like you said, humanize them, because you just see him as like this big, strong guy, or whatever, just kill anybody with his words. But then comes on the show and like it humanizes you when you talk to him, and you're like, oh, you're just like a dude, and you're just cool, and bring the God tier down a little bit, but also it's like. It's also good to know that
So there's a lot of people that you're heroes. When you're heroes, you meet them, you feel disappointment. Right. I think that in some of these streams he's done with Hexo, I just appreciate more, because it is relatable and it does make you realize you have potential inside of you. Are you living the best life you could be living? Are you doing things for you and yours, or people you care about, or altruistically, or whatever? Are you doing that? And if you're not, why don't you look at someone like a role model? If it's not Richard, then some other person. Do more with the amount of time you have on this planet. So I think he's been a great motivator, not just from the strength of character, but also those vulnerable moments. Makes it relatable.
Pep, you have an overall favorite moment?
Yeah, I guess I would say the end of the adoption amplifier. Because for one, there was so much FUD around it, but even beyond that, really, that's where I felt Hex could finally take shape, find its price, and really get moving. It's the inflation was stopping. Now we have this, and even today, I think we're seeing some of the price action because there's really only one place to go and acquire Hex now. You don't have this, waiting game where people just trying to wait out the system, game the system, that type of thing. Now Hex is actually wheels in motion. So that was probably my favorite point this year.
Yeah, one of the things that sticks out to me, and it's funny that you're on this stream, is that we streamed just one-on-one before Big Payday, and the price is pretty much at where it is now. And it was on its way up. It was breaking out, and little did we know, it would go to $0.015. And then what happened after Big Payday, where it went back down through it. And now within a month and a half, we're right back up. So the volatility, and it's just been a ride. It's been a crazy ride, but just, talking to you and see you on here, it just reminded me, I was like, holy crap, this is the price when we streamed, a month and a half ago, or maybe 2 months ago by now. And then we went up through it, we touched $0.015, then we went down, and now we're back up here. So it's like, oh man, if we go back to $0.015 and that thing busts, it's going to be like Bitcoin busting through its all-time high, I think. So, and Chaos is agreeing.
Definitely. Yeah.
Sorry, you were popping there, Johnny. So I muted.
Well, I saw you. Well, you got me muted because I'm obnoxious. So, but I got my favorite moment. I got my favorite moment. And my favorite moment is when this guy named Matt posts the whole chart on Peter McCormick's chart. And we've got that little video, right? Where Peter McCormick posted that chart and saying, see, I was right. And then Matt took that chart and then he cropped it and set it where it needed to be and then showed the rest of the chart. And you're like, or I can't get my hand movement here. There we go. Showed the rest of the chart, which is down here. And the crop part is, yes, we moved all the way up there before you crop that, Peter. You're not proving anything. And what makes that so great to me is because Peter advertised for Hex and he told his whole entire audience, go look at the Hex chart and check my homework. You stupid man.
And it that one picture where you see the media with the knife and it's like one person has the knife. It was just complete, and then the media is portraying it like that guy's got a knife, but it actually is the other guy that has. So it's just I feel like it's just like that picture with what he was trying to do. Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like he was trying to manipulate what people saw so he looked good. And it was like, no, look at you have, and he could block people, and I'm sure he blocked whoever posted that. But It was
right.
like,
But in the first thing a person does, if they're smart, but that's kind of like a journalist thing, right? Skewing the perception, controlling the perception. But anybody who has a brain is going to go, is that true? Let me go look that up. That's not true. That's what did you? I don't. It's wrong.
well, yeah, but the people with the brain are also even they're following Peter McCormick. There's your first problem right there. So, I don't know. Like I never knew who Peter McCormick was before he went on Richard's stream. I didn't know he was like this big Bitcoin guy. When Richard got done, like just hammering him this first time, and I went and looked at him. I'm like, how does he have this many subscribers? How does this guy actually have this much following? Like he said that he's like the dumb guy of crypto, or it's like, okay, why would you want to follow somebody? Like, I get that you want to be, but I didn't see that he'd be like number 2 of followers, and all of these huge companies would want to be sponsoring him and such. And I was just like,
because he spoke
really
the narrative.
My mind.
He spoke the narrative for them. I mean, again, he speaks the narrative for him. He is a paid shill. I mean, there's more people onboarded onto Kraken because of his, I'm just a dumb guy that's talking about crypto. So I mean, it makes sense that he has that following, but you are a lemming if you're following people that say from at the top of their lungs, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Yeah. So just pay attention to what I'm saying, because I'm an idiot. I don't know any of this technical mumbo jumbo stuff. I just know that I bought Bitcoin. He's an idiot.
My favorite part is when he goes, "Don't get all technical with me. Don't get all technical with me, Richard." He's like, "What are you talking?" He's like, "You don't even know anything about Bitcoin. Well, you should probably learn a little bit about Bitcoin before you start talking, at least."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Tim's got his favorite moment too.
Yeah, my favorite moment, like yours, Cabana, was April 18th, the day the God Stake took place. I'll never forget that, because I took a shower, I came out of the shower, and I opened up the chart, and here's that gigantic green candle, and I'm just like, is there like an API error? Is there something wrong? I'm like I got on Telegram, and people are like, dude, did you just see this? Yeah, I checked Etherscan, this is real. And I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like freaking out, just walking around in a daze like all day, because at that moment I knew this was it. This was like the takeoff period for Hex. We were never turning back. And I believe that's where we are now. The whales that are in Hex are looking for the opportunity to do another one of those stakes that will not get sold back down. And it's just imminent, because the people that will sell it down are running out of money. And yeah, that was the best day in Hex so far, was April 18th.
Yeah, and Johnny's done a good job of highlighting some of those accounts that have been slowly bleeding out. And I think a couple bled out yesterday. There's a couple more out there that I've been keeping track of, but slowly but surely, these non-believers, if you will, these dirty liquid, Hex holders, they're slowly bleeding out, and there's going to come a point where that sell pressure, what little it is that remains now, because so much of it is actually hit, that'll just fade away, and it's going to be buying and staking. And I think that's when we really hit the rocket ship super thruster.
Yeah, that tweet that Richard had the other day was just like, I saved it because it was too good. Where he said, the next time Hex starts doing giant vertical green candles, it'll be unlike anything you've ever seen before. Yeah. There's no adaptive amplifier to absorb buy pressure. The 4x price the last month will look like nothing. I was like,
yep. Exchanges. I don't do a lot of trading, but I look at the books and I look at the gaps, right? And what it looks like is hardly anybody's buying, right? And the people that are selling have their limit orders set way above market price. And, there is not that much Hex available on those exchanges. And it's just really bizarre, because there's such a gap in the buy-sell orders. I've never really seen that before in a crypto. It's because most of us are using, Uniswap. So there's a lot of liquid Hex. setting there, and they are not willing to sell it for cheap. So when it does take off, it's going to take off because people aren't just willing to give it away.
Yep.
It stayed for 5 to 10 years, some of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I've seen when I have gone on exchanges. That's like why I haven't been on an exchange in a while now. Is I mean like I messed around with Binance early on and shit, but like is that when I have looked at them, they have like there's just no volume. The liquidity isn't there. So like because there's no liquidity and no volume, like what are you gonna like? To me, it's a joke trading play. Like why would I want to bother with that shit when there's way better deals, trustless, with a click of a button.
Well, you're going to have to get struck by lightning to get a fat finger sell because nobody's doing it, right?
Yep.
We're not getting fat finger sells on exchanges.
Well, nobody who has any stacks of hex knows better than to leave it on an exchange or want to sell it on an exchange. It's just not going to happen. It's just not.
Even the process of selling is better on Hex because it takes more steps. I mean, you could fat finger sell on a centralized exchange pretty easily. You're like, oh yeah, I'll do that thing because I'm impulsive, and then you're fucked, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's made me think of rethink a lot of what I believe.
I've been waiting there for some time. They won't give it to me. I got half the liquidity on freaking. I won't the exchange, but.
I mean, that's really made me rethink a lot of like what I used to think. Like I used to think that like the more exchanges you're listed on, the better. The more you can spend this with a credit card. Like you can get a Bitcoin card that spends your Bitcoin. Right? Like you used to think that was all good, but like I really understand what Richard is saying now. And like no, all that shit is bad. We just need the good ways to get it and get rid of. And that's it. It's fine. Everywhere else sucks. And like. Screw those places, first of all, and second of all, like why more sell pressure? Why any of that? It's still.
Anybody else have a
when it goes viral? Yeah. When it goes viral, and there's nobody left to sell because all the sellers have bled themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always tell people. I mean, what happens when there's how many 550 million hex left in the Uniswap liquidity? It can't go to zero. So somebody buys 500 million of it right now. That's going to shoot the price up clear to. I don't even know what the price would be.
I mean, we didn't even go up that. I mean, it wasn't even like. I mean, this big jumps that we've had recently. We went from like 5,000 and change Ethereum to like 6,000 and change Ethereum. It's not that much. I mean. It hasn't been that big of a jump yet, I mean, a lot of these whales that are there that have hex already have way more than that sitting in their wallets. Way more than that. I mean, the thing is that it's a game. There's like these other like what I've figured out is that there's like all these. We are like as pleb level, you just like want to get the coin to get more money to be able to like play the next level of game. And like the next level of game is that like, okay, these people have a lot of money and they know that there's a liquidity balance that's going on here. So like, how do you accumulate hex when there's not that much available? Because like there's liquidity providers that have big bags of somewhat liquid hex that they can offer more up if they want, to make, but there's not a lot available. So like the game changes and
they also want the price to
accumulate slowly.
They always the liquidity providers probably want the price to go up too. It's probably not their full bag of hex that they have in the liquidity.
No,
so they're probably like, yeah, I'll eat it if this thing's getting for like 50x. I don't care. I'll eat the liquidity that I provided to just so watch it go to 50x because my bags are way bigger than whatever I put in. And we all know maybe we all don't know, but. I mean, we all know that the OA has probably provided a little bit, most of the liquidity is what I'm guessing, and so it's like.
Well, we definitely know like that there's some other cats that have provided sizable liquidity. I mean, right. Steph Staker, that's he's shown with his uni purchases.
Yeah,
his uni claims that he's provided quite a bit of liquidity. So like I know that there's other people that have, but like yeah, you're right. That like that's another one of those like. Things that are funny to me when somebody says, well, like the OA is going to dump on you. And you're like, what are they going to sell to themselves? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, what kind of dumb, stupid. Okay. Yeah. What? Okay. All right. Sounds good. You think what you want. Cool.
Yeah. They don't understand it. Well, then, yeah, it's.
Well, that's because that's what they would do, right? That's what they would do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they always think. I mean, that's one of those things is whenever people come up with their like their list of hypotheses of possibilities. Like my first question is like, how did you come up with this idea, man? You know, like what are you thinking about? You know, like that's the
Sounds
first
like
question.
you would do that.
They
Man,
go
you're
out
not
and
everybody,
they go out
bro.
and they want you to invest in them after they pretty much told you how they would treat the project if they were in control. And now they have a project that they're in control of. Hey, sign me up for that. This guy's a doper. No, I don't think so.
No.
You have the benefit of a founder that has the decade or plus of experience inside of crypto, and all of the narratives have been heard before. You know,
knows how to set a limit order without ever having to drop the price ever. I mean, come on. That's all you got to do, right? You don't affect the price when you set a limit order. You're not dumping. You're not selling against yourself. You set a limit order, and you can make profit as the price rises without affecting the price, without any downward sell pressure whatsoever. Just set a limit order. People that sell market and these people that are dumping and trying to force the price down, the only reason to try to force the price down against yourself is if you're going to try to buy at a smaller level. And people have tried to plug the price down so that they could buy back in at a small, and then the train takes off and leaves the station, and then they've got no hex, and the price has left them behind.
I mean, I think that'll be the future, you know. But I think that the reason why I like that God whale buy and stake like that. I mean, as much as I want to believe that there's going to be a bunch more of those, you know, and I think there will be some more. Like, you know, I think upwards motion will happen, but like, as more tools come out to use Uniswap on a more in-depth level, there's actually, like, I mean, not showing any other coins, I'm not even going to mention them, but there's other tokens that have been duct taped onto other projects that are like, you know, in-depth trading tools, you know, like it's overlays, essentially front ends for Uniswap that would be, you know, offer limit, you know, stop loss, trailing stop loss, all sorts of, you know, fancy trader tools, you know, in you know, on top of Uniswap. So like I think that a lot of why we've seen what we've seen on Uniswap is because it's such a new tool that people were just like, when they want to get in, they just wanted to get in. They just did, they were willing to buy market because they weren't willing to wait for a tool to come along like Pine.finance that's out there now for you to buy to put in a limit order. That they just weren't willing to wait for that. You know, like now
buy, go ahead and buy market, but sell. If you don't want to sell the price against yourself, then you limit order. And if you want to take profit, then you limit order, because then you're not selling the price down. You're guaranteed at least that much.
That's true.
You know, when
and like those tools are like that. I think that they're coming out more now than you'll, you know, the limit orders were not. I mean, what is that? A few, you know, it's only been a few months since like that. Since what was it? It was like Unihex or something like that, you know, X Swap or something. I can't remember what they were initially called.
Changed their name.
Now it's Pine Finance. Yeah. But that's still a new development, you know, relatively speaking, you know. So
right.
So like,
but the point I'm making here is, first of all, Richard is smart, and if he needed to take profit, he would never market sell.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. He would never market sell. If he took profit, you would never know about it, because he would not be dumb enough to sell down his own product.
Honestly, you know, with his intellect that he's displayed, he would have made 10x money just being a dark person, not in this coin or doing anything public whatsoever. So, I mean, if he was just a profit motive, you wouldn't have ever heard of Richard Hart, because he would have been doing stuff that was.
Oh no! It's not just.
You know,
he likes to say it's a profit motive. Yes,
and the ego.
Yeah,
right.
If Satoshi has a namesake and Vitalik has a namesake, Richard deserves a namesake recognized in this space.
Oh, he's going to take over Satoshi.
Yeah.
He's taking over Satoshi in my book.
Yeah.
He's going to be.
Well, I mean,
once we pass Bitcoin and Ethereum's market cap, it's all over. It's all over. And I literally, truly think that that'll happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Goodbye, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And
I actually, you know, the thing I
Bitcoin
believe that there's more than one coin than besides Hex that like is going to overtake their market caps. I don't think that there's like. I think that Richard is very, very smart and has coded the fundamentals into the system to work right. But I also believe that like there is common knowledge, like I was saying before, that there's like I've seen it. I've looked through some of these other projects. Some other people have understood enough of what Richard has understood about the fallacy of market cap. And there's other people that understand the laws of supply and demand enough to know that they can game that statistic in a similar way that Richard is you know, that we have coded into Hex. You know, so like, do I think that there will be actually other projects that like in this next market cycle that also, you know, eclipse Ethereum's market cap built on Ethereum? Yeah, I think there's going to be like 2 or 3 other ones, like us and maybe 2 other.
Well, you can see it on CoinMarketCap's page 3. There's tons of them actually. You just gotta go to page 3.
Yeah, no, but I would think like
They're
legit
out there for a
projects
couple
that they
minutes.
won't be able to deny that I think that like will be, you know, there's already a couple that, you know, that I think have that, you know, that are out there that will do it too. You know, it's like I said, I don't, you know, we won't get tons of the old influencers that, like, there won't be people that are like, you're totally right, we are totally wrong. They're just, you know, because there's gonna be a lot of other people that make a fuck ton of money in this next bull run. I mean, there's a whole another year of it.
Richard said before, you don't get rich, you know, starting a cable company. It's the substrate isn't where the money is. You know,
it's Amazon
Prime and Netflix and everything else. That's where all the money is.
Yep.
It's the show's built on top. So
Yep.
you know, his logic is sound with that with Hex, and that's exactly what Ethereum is to Hex. It's just a substrate. The real success. And you're right, Big K. Yeah, I'm sure other things will come out and you know, succeed in the same way.
And I can't wait until the market cap is just proven ridiculous, because it really is. Once Richard kind of explained it to us over and over, it was just like, yeah, what the heck are we even? Why is it so like? But it's all like these influencers really that have harped on it for many years since, you know, it's like,
to be fair to
market
them,
market cap is.
To be fair to them, I mean, it's like countries, you know, whatever, quantifying their progress by their GDP. It's really not that great of a statistic to like quantify this, you know, how a country overall is doing, but we've been doing it for so long and it's all we fucking know, you know? So like, that's, you know, somebody please show us that statistic is garbage so we can use something better, you know? Thank you for then that's what we're going to get here in crypto. You know, I'm excited for that. That's great.
Yep. Any more favorite moments of Hex before we close that chapter?
Oh, I'm excited for all the ones to come. There's so many fun ones in the future.
Right. We have talked about that on the other stream. So I wanted to move on to this one. It's more of like a feel-good kind of thing, but I'll throw it out there. Oh, yeah. Hold on, John. You're like popping, so there you go.
I wanted to say Gary picked a very good description of market cap. And I talked about it on some of my videos where I wanted to reference. Gary picked that out, and it was really good. It was about the 4-minute mile that nobody had ever surpassed at that time. And as a result, people were limiting themselves and their thoughts on what was possible, right? And it's a beautiful story, because what it is we do set limitations in ourselves, and we set limitations mentally and barriers that we don't feel that we can break as a result of these limitations. And it was a beautiful comparison, because after the first person was able to break that 4-minute mile, then, you know, several people broke it. Then 100 people broke it. Then 1,000 people broke it. And then even college kids or high school students were able to break that 4-minute mile, because it had become something that could be done. And we are at a point in Hex where we are doing what hasn't been done yet, right? We are breaking the rules. We are breaking those barriers. We are setting new achievable results. And that is just like the most beautiful analogy. And I think it was great that you picked it out and put that video together. I think it's a great analogy for what's happening right now.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, I wanted to move on to this one. And again, it's more of like a feel-good kind of thing. And I definitely have an answer for this. But has Hex improved your life in any way? And if so, how?
Yeah, I'll put it in the bank.
And mine is it's just flat out time saved. I would watch I'm in the crypto. I love crypto, and I would watch a lot of crypto videos and kind of like looking for some, you know, deeper plays in the portfolio. And it just came to a point, I'd say, you know, mid 2020 with Hex, it's like, okay, well, if this is it, it's real now, and it's working as intended, and it doesn't have to prove itself anymore to me personally. So it's like, what am I doing sitting down for these 15-20 minute videos, trying to dig around maybe for, the next, nice little gem in my portfolio, to where I already got it. So it's like, and I pretty much, faded that out of my life. And, I still have a portfolio of coins, but I'm not digging for, gems or anything like that. And I think so many traders or altcoin bros are still fascinated with that. They want to find that 100x to say that they found it, and then they can tout it and tell all their buddies and go on social media or YouTube and be like, oh, well, this is my coin, and they'll shill it to everybody else, where you don't have to do that with Hex. You have it. Your time is freed up. You're locked in, or at least most of us are, or all of us are, sometimes for 15 years, 10 years, and you're watching the interest grow. And it's cool, like the Nagabo video, like he's got it now. It's like price up, price down. He's mad at Hex. He was like, why is XRP going up and Hex down? Well, last video, of course, I think it was what Richard said he just watched 10 times, and I think I've done close to that many. We have the same sense of humor because it just cracks me up. But yeah, he's like, my Hex, it's growing and I'm doing nothing. And that's the point. Like, if more people get that, yeah, we're gonna get there, and slowly but surely, it's happening.
Off of that, Cabana, I talked about this on my show today. Like, the price is awesome. The price is like something that's really cool, and it drives a lot more people into the space, so I can show them. But what I really enjoy is teaching people and showing them and seeing that aha moment where they're like, holy geez, this thing actually could take off. Like, this is like genius. When you get somebody like that and you make them see that it's like, dude, look at this, look at the share price, look at this, and you stake it so people can't sell it. And once they start realizing that, they go, holy crap. And that's why I love doing the news. I like talking to other people about it. Like, sometimes I get a little bit, like, I almost get shaky sometimes when I'm talking about it, because I'm like so excited, and I'm like, yes, this is gonna be the coolest thing, but so yeah, I mean, it's one of the best things I think about Hex is where it's I think that and a lot of us are passionate just as much as I am about it, like that. I could see it with everybody. I mean, nobody, all of us here, nobody is going to spend hours of their week, days, or whatever on something that they're not passionate about. And this community is extremely passionate about what they're into, and they know, like we know that it can work. We can, we've seen it. We've seen a year of it, and we want to show that to other people so that they're, this community almost seems like it's less about the money and more about just like building a bigger community too. Like, it's almost not always about what's on the price chart, like that. When I go to the Bitcoin community and all these other communities, that's what I see. This is what the price chart is, this is what this is, and this is what this is, and that's the show for the day. This community, it seems like we want to get to know you. We want to actually know who you are. We don't want to, go to Discord Syndicate. See how much they talk about actual price on there. It's like 10, maybe 20, 30% about Hex, and then 70% about the people that are there, and about how you got into it, and what you do in your life, and everything else. And I think that's one of the really cool things about the Hex community. I really enjoy it. But sorry, I kind of went off a tangent. But how it's improved my life. I mean, obviously everything. Last year I was like, I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I was just sitting in the, playing video games when my kid was doing, nothing. When we would just play video games or whatever, and that was it. That was my life. I would clean the house, take care of the kid, make dinner, and that was it. You know, watch Bitcoin, Tone Vay's channel, you know, all these things, and that was my life. You know, waiting for that big 20, waiting for that big 20K to get back up there, and it's like, you know, it's like, okay, cool. How long can this last? And you know, at $3,000 or $4,000, I remember buying clear down at $3,000. I think I bought some at $3,700. But that was mostly because I knew about Hex and I had something to live for, because I was honestly getting super bored of crypto, because it was just like, even if it goes up to 20K, I don't, you know, at that point, I think I had even less than a Bitcoin at that point. So it was just like, even if it goes up to 20K, like, what do I got? Like maybe $17,000 or something like that. It's like, woo, watch out, watch out, I'm coming through. But so, I mean, it's improved my life a lot. You know, just thinking about the future, thinking about my future, thinking about my family's future, being able to provide my family with, you know, a better life, especially in the future. It's improved my life. More X's than Hex has actually done. 266X. My life has improved more than 266X.
Heck yeah.
So I really appreciate Richard Hart for actually making it, because it's that good on my family, and that we all appreciate it. So, and every one of us, you guys too, because everybody promotes it and it skyrockets the price up even more. So yeah, that's my thank you for everybody out there.
Outstanding. Fundinggym.com.
I think before Hex, like you were saying, Cabana, how much time went into looking for that? Because you're going to do research, you're going to have an advantage of time, and you're going to get something before other people get it, right? And then that value will go up because you invested X number of hours to do research. The next person finds out later, your bag swells. And although that may be good in some ways, because, you know, your work ethic rewards you, I guess. I didn't feel that great about it, honestly. I don't really feel like great about, like, if I find, even in real estate, like if I find something in real estate and I'm like, oh, here's a great opportunity. I think of like the New York pirate capitalist. It's like, I'm going to get that before someone else gets that. And I really just don't like that environment as much. I think that Hex has improved my life specifically because now when I'm learning something, I'm learning so that I can help teach other people. And it's not just Hex is great, this is why. It's not just education. It is like the tool to take ownership of their own destiny, their own direction, to give back to them the life that they were giving away to other people. I don't know if you can still hear me. My camera's going to be dead. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me, that's fine. My battery keeps dying. But what I'll say, like I said, the reward I feel, like Hexo said, is more multiples of quality of life instead of just quantity of dollars. That doesn't really make that much of a difference to me at this point. Yeah, so I've gotten a lot more from the community, and I feel like I want to give more to the people that have never heard of Hex, never heard of crypto. In some ways, save them from the meat grinder that could be other coins taking, you know, more of their time into their obsession, and, you know, think that they're doing diligent research about something that someone else knows that there's a game to it, and they're going to get wrecked. They just don't know it yet. So yeah, that's where my time is, and that's where my life has improved, is by putting it towards productive means.
Nice. How about you, Big Pep?
Well, you know, beyond the financial gains, potential financial gains, it really is being part of the Hex community. It's more than just, you know, about even the token. I mean, the camaraderie, the cohesiveness, the bond in this community is really second to none. Beyond anything in crypto, beyond most things you would find, especially in an online forum, social media setting such as this. People in this group, I think, generally want the best for everyone in it. We like to raise, you know, there's intelligent, bright people to surround yourself with. Everybody wants to share knowledge, raise everybody's game, help everybody succeed, and then branch out beyond that and truly, you know, make the world a better place. And that is what I found to be most improved, to be involved and part of something in a group like this. Is you can't put a monetary value on that.
Absolutely. So, about you, Kurt.
There's so many things that y'all hit on that I want to touch on, but like I'm gonna stick to the topic. God, that was all great stuff though, man. I'd say that it's improved my life into the same, like caring about, like having the time to care about what matters now, like which is my own well-being and my family's well-being. You know, like that's the like before, like there was a lot of like you said, getting the knowledge to be one step ahead of somebody. Getting doing a lot of due diligence to. I was mining cryptocurrency, which like my time was spent tinkering around with electronics by the rackfuls, and like that was like for what to be away from my family more, to be not be able to really enjoy my time or as much or be positive for others or like give back what knowledge I learned. A lot of knowledge to give it to like some machines, and like I didn't pass that knowledge on to anybody at all, and I think that this is not like information that I'm happy to. And I talk with so many more of my friends, like not on here, like you're right, that like this is a kick-ass community, and it must be a kick-ass community, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be spending so much time here. Because like I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of people that I know through music, through just life. I've done a lot of different shit, and like I like through this pandemic, and most of them were people that I'd see in person, all the time. We have really personal relationships, and this has not been a time when I can do that, so I've been able to, push on to a lot of them, and they've like a lot of cats have responded, and now I talk to tons of them on the regular. So like through the pandemic, I've had this Hex community as well, which has been kick ass, and like I said, must be kick ass, because I also have like my phone ringing off the hook from my friends that are like looking for information on Hex, and like that shit's awesome, and like it's great, because then I get to also catch up with their families and their lives and everything else going on with them regularly too, which I did somewhat before, but man, when you're like the knowledge base for somebody making insane amount of X's, trust me, I get to we talk with them a lot more, they're way more into it, so yeah, it's and then there's all these other peripheral things like the Cabana's Crypto like workout challenge. Like I've been working out, I've been focused on who I am health wise more than I have in years, and that's due to the fact that I want to see the end of the 555 stake with all my everything put together, that's kick ass. There's so many ways. And that's all things that are not. I guess they're like somewhat financial in the sense that like I have the freedom to do some of that stuff now, but like it doesn't stop me from like still doing business and trying to make income in other ways too. That's not like ended that to like any degree, but man, it's felt great to be just a part of this and like help my friends to be a part of it too, and it's awesome. That's been felt the greatest.
Yeah, if you keep making those 555 stakes, you're going to have to just keep up the fitness for that much longer.
Yep, that's right. I had like my first stake from way back when like the first early on at Hex come up, and like they did exactly that. So it was a strange feeling to realize, because I hadn't I had done a couple stakes before big payday, but then there's like a month or so time there when I didn't, and those big payday stakes like to be able to put another 5555 out and realize that like, oh wow, there's a space of time that's elapsed, like that's further than I ever and I have a 555 stake from day like 3 or what, like the first day I could stake out in Hex, that like now is more than it's almost 10% done. That's
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy that it's already been a year. Like to even think about that, it's wow, it's already been a year, and it's like some of these, when you look at it and you're like, I'm staking this for 15 years, and you really actually understand that you're staking that for 15 years, you're like, dang, that's gonna be. But now we're already done with a year, and just like, oh, wasn't that some of these year-long stakes that I had? I'm just like, why did I stake it for a year?
Yeah, that was.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing is, I mean, there's a lot. There's people that I know that staked like early on. I got them into it. That staked it out for only that long, and that they feel exactly like that. They're like, man, if I had known, I was like, well, I mean, just you're at the party, all right. Like, just be glad you're here. You know.
It's funny how our perspective about time is, because we think, oh, that's such a long time, but you probably expect to live into your 70s or 80s. I mean, you probably expect that you're going to have a long lifespan. You don't assume that you're going to pass sometime sooner. So it's weird. Like, we expect that guy driving down the highway is going to stay on his side of the road. You know, you expect that, you know, but it's just paint. It's just paint that separates you from them, right? So it's weird how we like say, oh, 15 years is forever. And then we say, oh, a lifetime of 80 years is too short. It's weird. Time is weird.
Yeah. Most people get married 2 or 3 times in 15 years.
Yeah.
It goes by pretty quick.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
You can't remarry in Hex. That's one contract you ain't getting out of.
That's a real expensive divorce in Hex.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of improving your life, what's your take, Tim? You got one on this?
Well, yes, Hex has improved my life in a very significant way. And, you know, even though money isn't everything, it helps when you get paid more to sleep than you do to work, especially when you've been working since you were 7 years old. So I am a very happy camper. And part of the way of expressing that happiness is to visit people and help them become Hexicans, and visiting people who are Hexicans. And that's why I'm here at Johnny's studio right now, because it's just happens to be along the way of my current travel route. And it's like, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to help people become free. And when people are free of the bonds, particularly financial bonds, they can start paying attention to things that actually matter in life. Like, why are things happening the way they are in government and stuff? You know, when people have the time to pay attention to these things, they can actually get involved and make real changes in society and in this world. And, you know, Richard talks about making the world better. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to make the world better when your nose is just stuck to the ground and you can't pay attention to anything going on around you, because all you can think about is, where's the next paycheck going to come from? And, you know, when that burden is removed, you can start, you know, paying attention to other things. So, yes, Hex has very much improved my life, and I'd like to see it improve other people's lives also. So that's my focus, and I hope it's other people's focuses also.
Yeah, I feel that a whole bunch, man. I get that, man. But, you know, it's so crazy because, like, you know, some people say that everybody has the same amount of time, which they kind of do. But, like, when you have money, you actually have more time. You know, you can use that money to afford you more time. You know, it's just it's definitely helpful. You know, it makes it easier to bring other people into the fold. That's for sure.
Well, cool. All right, next one. And this one a little personal to me because I have a success story. What? You weren't there, dude.
Okay.
So anyway.
Right.
He wanted me to have the spotlight on that one.
I wanted to give him the spotlight. Tim has traveled out here. He is coming to see people that are other Hexicans that have inspired and encouraged him to do this thing. And you know, he's stopping out to see people on his way. He's doing the travel. It's great. I wanted to give him some time in the spotlight on that. He has a real emotional story. It's really changed his life. He's enjoying life now. You know, he's had other rough times, and this has done wonders for him. So, but for me, this has been a double-edged sword. For me, I wanted to get into Hex so I'd have that freedom, and I find myself less free and more focused on what's happening because I see all these things happening, and there's so much false information out there that I have to run around and hit all this false information with a hammer. I've got this obsessive compulsive disorder where I've got to hit all this FUD with a hammer and correct people, when they're out there spouting untruths, and they haven't even, everybody's like Peter, man. They've not done the research, and they want to have a conversation, but they've got nothing to offer, and people are just like, well, okay, I believe you because you say it's this, and and then you have to jump in there, and you just So I find myself engaged more in Hex than I want to be, but in all actuality, it's been the good part is the community. All you smart, intelligent individuals that I've had the ability to meet with and talk with, and virtually, and get through all this craziness where there's not a lot of human contact. And I've done trade shows and conventions, and I miss those because those are not happening right now. And sometimes it's just nice to be able to have an intellectual conversation with people. And I found it seems to me the smartest people are the ones that can see through the smoke and mirrors and realize what an opportunity that Hex is. And every one of you guys have been an improvement on my life. So thank you all.
Whack-a-mole champion.
Thank you 100 times.
100 time whack.
Even you, Cabana, even though you kicked me
Content,
out.
Johnny. Your shit is like you're. I can tell that like you don't have to do like you don't. It's not none of us like have to do any of this, but like I get it. That like you have a unique perspective and a good way of saying things. So like when you are making your cut videos, it's greatly appreciated. I definitely think your stuff is awesome. I'm always happy to be stream with you.
I mean, that's what is awesome about this community, and I tell everybody to get on stream because everybody has their own perspective, and you're smarter than you think that you are, and you're probably going to bring something to the table that somebody else hasn't brought. Even if you like Big Pep, when he started streaming, I was like, holy smokes, this guy has all these spreadsheets and everything, and I was like, dude, this is what we've needed, and everybody has that. Like Big Kurkowski, you have all of your mining, how you knew about mining and stuff like that, how you brought that in, and how it's like, yeah, mining, like if you were a miner before, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go mine Bitcoin. But then listening to you, where it's just like, yeah, it's not that profitable. Sometimes you get profitable, but it really isn't. So, I mean, everybody has their own like thing that they have, their little niche that they bring to the Hex community that built this community. And now it's like, I think that some people feel like, oh, they've got it. But honestly, everybody should be getting on to streams. Like that's one of the requirements to get into the Hex meetup in February is that you have to be at least on stream, because man, I'm not going to invite you if you're not even like willing to get on a stream, like you're not even like, not that you're not a part
not
of
real,
but it's just like I can't, for security reasons for one, and for two, it's also like we're gonna probably be streaming in the park. You're gonna be on at that time. Just come on and say hi or something. So at one point we've had these 24-hour streams. We got RG3's Discord Syndicate. We have plenty of places that and stream. You don't have to have anything that's crazy. Like all you have to do is click a link and it pulls it up for you, and then you can use your phone. It's nothing crazy if anybody wants to know. So it's easy. That's like, we're not selling tickets to get to the Hexagon meetup for but you just have to show your face. That's all that is required. And I think that like everybody should at least check it out. And StreamYard is free, by the way. And if you want to start up your own StreamYard, it's super easy. You sign up, you get a YouTube account, you hook it up, and it's there. You just start streaming right away. And then we could get your take on things. And because one of the reasons why I got bored of Joe Rogan is because I've heard everything Joe Rogan has said over and over and over. He might bring on different guests, but when Joe Rogan starts talking, I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, I've heard this. I've heard it. We all know you're the best at at the kicking. You're the hardest kicker, or you got this, which is, but after like 4 years of listening to him, you're just like, All right, yeah, we've heard it. So and that's probably what's going to happen with a lot of the OGs, and new people need to come in, and new people need to, we're going to have to recycle the influencers here to get new ones. Where do the influencers go, kind of thing? But we need new people to get in and talk. And I mean, Johnny is he's not new in the community, but he's starting up his stream, and dude, those are super interesting streams. I wish I could watch that. Like I watched your other one.
I did it. I set them so you can go in there now. I
Know how I can watch your old streams. I just can't watch it while it's streaming, but it's like, dude, like you've got really good information that is really good to to listen to, and you're very entertaining, and it's very entertaining to watch. So like it's just everybody should come to the table and try to give back to the community, because you might not think it, but you probably have something that the community needs in the a little part of you. And even if not, hey, we get to we get to know you, and that's cool enough. Everybody needs to know, like we've had 24-hour streams with 10 people with their flipping back and in and out. I mean, that was the hardest thing for me for the whole 24-hour stream, was trying to get all the people in. And it was just like, dude, that was so hard, because we have so many people that want to be in the on the streams and be a part of the community. And I think that's so awesome that the community does that. And maybe we'll have a Bitcoin one with 60 people.
It's totally possible. And what's funny is, like, just within the past couple of days, Funding Jim's one of them, but I've been invited on multiple streams just to come on and talk and do one-on-ones and stuff like that. And it's like it's really taken off, I think, after Big Payday. And just this stream tonight, I mean, they were like, Joe Hexotic was going to go on at like 10. He's like, I think you guys are gonna go a little past that, so I'm just gonna move it to next week. And then I think Brand got one, and then Motley did one at 5 o'clock Eastern, and then Hexo's on at 6:40. And it's just like, you get home from work and you pretty much have your own Hex channel right now if you want.
And that's what's really cool, though, is we're not in competition here, right? No. Every one of us is out to support everybody, and that is kind of unheard of, because the most of the crypto influencers are all competing for that sponsorship, right? We're not competing for sponsorship. We're building a community, and that's why we get called a cult, because we're building a community, right? Yeah. And I do want to point out, it's Hexo's fault that I do the amount of content that I do, because he has been through this all the time, and he has been on me so bad. Johnny, make your own channel. Make your you need it. You need to get out there.
When you have your little Twitter rant, I'm like, dude, this is like perfect for, like it probably just comes to you and you're like, oh, I've got to do this. And I'm like, dude,
that is exactly how it happens.
It's like
it happens, but I provide it for you guys to utilize. You can copy it, you can paste it, you can do whatever you want with it to support your case. I give you free permission to use any of my content, and I try to do it in a way where I plant seeds, right? I mean, I don't want to be the center of attention. I'm a special effects guy, man. I'm behind the scenes, right? I like to see things happen without me having to be right in front of the camera, So I like to share the knowledge, plant the seeds, and watch other things grow. And I love it, because when I hear people repeat something that I said, or use an analogy that I said, or something like that, that makes me happy. That's what really makes me happy. When I have to get out of my show and I have to be the dude in front of the camera, sometimes I have fun with it, and usually something triggers me, and it's like, look, this has got to be said, this has got to be addressed. And if nobody's addressing it, then I feel like I have that need to address it. So I try to do it. And Big Pep, you helped out a lot with your spreadsheet information and stuff, because for me, I can see it in my head on what's happening, but trying to express that is so difficult. And it's like, I don't do a lot of, work like spreadsheets and stuff like that. And it's like, there it is. Look, I can send people over to Big Pep, and he has the tool to explain what it is that I'm trying to visualize. This is something people can understand and visualize if they don't, if they can't see it. This makes it very clear. And that was really awesome that you stepped forward and did that. So we appreciate your show too.
No, I'm glad everybody found them so helpful. I was actually in the beginning thinking, well, to me, because I been doing spreadsheets for years, they were rather second nature. I'm like, well, everybody probably already has this. And so let me share it anyway, just in case. And then, yeah, it's been received very well. So thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was probably one of the
thing
best.
is, there's an audience out there for people that have not spoken yet about Hex. And if you come in and you're going to be a podcast, you're going to make a stream, you're going to make a meme, there's people that will identify with what you have to say if you're saying it yourself, or your sense of humor if you're just chopping up other people's stuff and making something. You know, just be a maker, be a builder. You will feel better even if you don't have any views. You will feel better. You just feel good.
True.
Yep.
Those spreadsheets, I would send them to friends that were kind of like, so I don't understand the shares thing or how much I'm gonna get. And I'm like, just a second, I got Big Pep spreadsheet. I would send them your video and they would download the spreadsheets and they were like, holy smokes, what this is, and they put it like, they got so many people, and I don't know if they got more people. Probably in real life they got more people in than I have. That's how many. So technically you onboarded all those people because you,
cool.
You know, like,
I mean, they're a great way to visually represent data. People do, you know, they're very popular in corporate worlds too for that same reason. So yeah, I'm very glad for that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I think I said it on your stream today, where somebody lost 50 pounds from when I started my no eating for my fasting diet, my intermittent fasting. Well, they just kept on going with it. They went 50 pounds. They've lost 50 pounds, and you don't really know who you're inspiring to like go and do something, you know, even if you don't do what you wanted to do, or kind of maybe, you know, it wasn't a fail for me because I did the fasting for the whole time, but I lost like 10 pounds and then I gained it all back, you know, because I just stopped fasting. But like, you go, you know, this guy did that, and you don't know who you're inspiring with all these streams, and nobody, you know, like that's why I say people should really get on the stream, because you don't know who you're inspiring, and you could inspire somebody that is, you know, somebody else that's really takes off and they get the million views, or, you know, you get the million views, but you could inspire somebody to, you know, to go for their goal, and they are the ones that blow up, and they are the ones that make Hex popular, and you know, nobody knows that. And you know, that's why I told Johnny, like, Johnny, you got to do your own show, because I could see Johnny's show getting hundreds of thousands of views, because Johnny has that kind of you know, the animated personality that everybody's, you know, that is YouTube friendly. Like, that is what YouTube wants, is a Johnny personality.
When I'm not cursing the head off, right?
No, even that. No, there's people on there that are, you know, like, but that's the kind of personality where it's, you know, wacky animated, but you also are given like truth bombs in there too. And that's why I was like, dude, you need to start your own channel, because this is like, you know, and Kareem is another one that needs to start his own channel, and he needs to get out there, because there's a group of people that are like, yeah, let's go, you know, and Kareem is that guy that's like, yeah, let's go, you know. And there's, even if it's not because you know more anything, you know, you might not know more about Hex, but you are, you know, like, you are just kind of this Kareem type where it's just hype, and you're like, yeah, that's gonna hype people up. That's gonna hype up a certain type of group of people that's gonna see it. They're gonna love it. So I think everybody out there, it's not hard. Start up a Streamlabs account, start up a YouTube account, stream. You know, you can overlap any of my shows that you want. Really, I don't care. So
we take it over this town.
Yeah.
With the archive ability of some of these things, your best 5 minutes might get years and years and years of play. So just put content out, put some content out, you know, in your best mood of the day and your best 5 minutes of the day, putting that out there. You know, Richard has said before about his sci-fi book, is that, you know, the book is better than he is. You might have an interaction with him. You might have commentary. You might have some insight that he vocalizes on a camera or on a stream, but your content is actually what lives beyond you. Right? I get more from, you know, never having watched Richard, like some of you guys watched him from 2017, 16, things like that. I didn't watch him back then. I didn't know him back then at all. And I've gotten so much out of stuff he published 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you know, from his old stuff. I get a lot from his current stuff, but I'm also biased because I like Hex so much. So just put content out there. You know, it's something that can be part of your legacy story. It's something that, you know, you, like you just said, Hexologist inspires other people and say, if that guy can do it, gosh, of course I can, right? So
I mean, look at my old videos. Look at my
Thanks
first.
again, Gary. Man, you just handed those. What is that? Insult sandwiches. You got
it's
compliments.
possible. I'm just saying, it's possible,
But for real, look at my first videos to see how much it's different from, that's.
Oh, we were there, man.
I looked at them and I cringed, and I'm like, oh, damn. Was I really?
I remember
like that?
telling you over and over and over, please make a video. Please make a video. So you make such good memes. Please make a video. How to do something.
Yeah, I still need to do that.
That old hexologist would not have been invited because he didn't show his face.
I did not show my face for the first 20 days, I guess. Yeah, you wouldn't be
Some of
invited.
those realities that Richard talks to like that, until you actually are in practice feeling them happen and working for you, you still don't even though he's telling you his honest truth, what he knows about shit, you still don't believe him. You still there's a part of you that's still I didn't he said referrals can make you fucking you can make yourself rich off of referrals. He said that well before the referral system ever launched, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I made a lot of hacks off of the referrals, more than I could have put in, off of the referrals that I had, yeah. And that, and I didn't until I saw that, and it was in my wallet in a reality. I still didn't. Was like, yeah, whatever. And then I started getting referrals from people I didn't even fucking know, and I was like, I don't know where that came from, and I now I can't help but that truth is undeniable, It was, but at the time I was I didn't feel it was always an undeniable truth. I didn't experience it, And once I experienced it, I was like, hey, damn sure he was right. Well, I'll be the guy who's it's a serious success. And
I probably should have used
advice for a long period of time. I wish I would have just always taken his advice, because it's man, I'd be so much I took his advice on a lot of things, but FOMOing day one, maybe I should have taken his advice.
I can remember very clearly when he talked shit about Bitcoin Cash, and I was heavily in that camp, and I was like, block this motherfucker. I was straight up, I don't need to hear the dumb shit coming out of this asshole's mouth. I'm saying, and if I had just listened back then, holy crap, it's just, you're like, man, the road would not have been nearly.
I didn't benefit too much from the referrals, guys, because I any wallet that's valid, you guys have never seen the address to. So I didn't really, from the start. But see, I had that kind of negativity from the other influencers shilling whatever links, right? So I just couldn't for myself utilize it like I probably should have. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just for me personally, I just felt like I couldn't really do it, So I never really pushed my referral link. I think I made really nothing on the referrals. The hex that I've got, I did buy.
I will say
it's kind of just the opposite of one of our guests from another show. I bought all mine. He didn't buy any of his. You know how that goes.
What? I don't know. I don't understand. How did he get all of his hex?
He's given.
Building contracts on top of hex.
Oh, that guest. Yeah. Don't invest in
friction.
Yeah.
Next question.
So,
Awkward silence. Engage.
Everyone's gonna exist. That's the thing, is that when you have something good, there'll be all sides of it. There's gonna be a seedy side of it. There's gonna be a righteous side of it. There's gonna be everything's gonna exist. So that you can't in some regards, just like when the haters come, you should be glad of that, because the haters mean that we're on the right track. And the same way, when the scammers and the charlatans and the fucktards come along with it all in all their respective forms, that's fine. They'll be there for a minute and they'll be gone eventually, and that's fine, cool, whatever. They don't have to give them any more notoriety than they're already going to claw themselves.
Yeah. Well, cool. We got a couple more left here, so let's get them in. I just wanted to bring this one up in case anybody else had a cool story. I just had one recently, so I thought it'd be just a cool topic. But if you had just regarding onboarding a new user, you have a favorite Hex success story. I just had one I told Big Kirk on my show, but I'll just go through it really quick. Old buddy of mine has been in finance, works in finance, not allowed to buy crypto, own crypto because he is in finance, traditional finance, and messaged me weeks ago, and I was just like, hey, think it's a good time to get into Bitcoin or Ethereum? And I was like, have you heard of Hex? He's like, no, I'll check it out. I was like, dude, not to sound like, crazy or anything, but I was like, I know everything about it. So any questions, let me know. And I basically explained it to him like the concept of a high interest CD on the blockchain. And of course, him being in traditional finance, he understood that. And heck, he might even be watching or might watch the replay, I'm sure. But yeah, he got into it. And I think it was that night he had some ETH laying around maybe and texted me. He was like, I got Hex. I was like, all right, well, now you need to stake that Hex. So he ended up staking it like the next day. And he's like, oh, this is pretty cool. I kind of understand it. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I got some for, Christmas gifts for family. And he was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Kind of like people do for CDs, gifting them and stuff like that. So I get a text like a week later. Hey man, I bought some more. I'm like, oh, all right. So he just got the taste, and then he got a little more. And then the next week, I got another text. He had bought more, and he texted me last week, and he's got his buddy in. So that's just like a very short, brief example of how it can work. And you multiply that by, who knows how many people that or could affect, and tell about it and give them that little taste. And that's why I think the rating ETH for Hex is such a great idea. Is you never know, if you just give somebody a little taste and they like it, awesome. But they start telling people.
Joker is one of them. I guess that would be my new user. I have two. So Joker is one of them, and everybody kind of knows that story. And give somebody a little bit of Hex, and then they're just he has 150 people watching him a night at least, and now he's shilling it pretty much twice a week, 3 times a week. Anytime he sees a Hex get in there, he's looking at the price like, oh yeah, let's look at the price. Yeah, we got the right guy.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah. But also I had a friend on day 32. I was like, dude, you got to get into this. He's in financial markets as well. He looked up everything. He was like, nah, it sounds like a scam. Come back to me. And he comes back. So we didn't talk for a while. We don't talk a whole lot anyway, but 200 days later, he's hitting me up. Hey, so how much have you made on Hex? I tell him, 260, whatever it was at that time. It was pretty high. And he's like, what? How much? And he's and now he's the friend that I sent Big Pep's videos. And he was just like, dude, he onboards more, like I said, he onboards more real people than I do myself, because he's in the financial market and he knows all these people with lots of money, and he's onboarding lots of people. So that's my success story, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah, and what's cool is I got my buddy in at around a third of a penny, so he's already
in the green
minimum. Well, way more than that now, close to triple.
When did he get in?
Just a few weeks ago when we were like 0.003.
Oh, so after the big payday though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah.
No, that's the best. Like right now is like, it's so much easier to onboard people than big payday, the AA, because people look at that and they're like, well, what about this AA thing? And you're just like, I don't even just.
They can't understand.
Go to Uniswap, bro. What about this big payday? Then you got to talk about big payday. My big payday's gone down. I don't know what's going on. It's just like, please, no more questions. Just stake it. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah. Hey, fundingjim.com. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have a Hex success story?
Not like as far as big dollar value, but I have had people that converted because there were tenants. I think people have heard that I've paid my dentist before in Hex and then walked them through how they already had a Coinbase account.
Yeah.
So they walked them when I paid them, they converted pretty quickly into while I was there to make sure they were settled, right? So there'd be no hard feelings or whatever happened as far as price point on Hex. And so I paid them in Hex. Within a few minutes, they had converted it into USDC, and they had basically had a liquid account, right? So they're settled. And then later, I find out that they did buy back in, and that was really the whole reason I paid them in Hex to begin with, because it compels them to be curious and find out about it.
Mhm.
But the ones that I think have been better successes have been I have 6 tenants of apartments, and 2 of them had decided that I'd given the offer. I said, I'll give you a discount if you pay me in Hex. Show them how to do it. Show them the tools that are online, different websites and different influencers like in this stream. And so initially they were getting a discount. And so they thought I was the sucker because they could have been paying in dollar, but they were getting a discount because they got this easy way to get Hex. And so they did that for like 4 months, I think. 4 months they paid me under the market rate for their rent. And just last month, both of them converted and said, can we just start paying dollar again? Because I don't want to pay Hex anymore. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they went back to their old rent rate, which was established before. And because it's like Gresham's law. They don't want to give up what they see as a valuable thing.
Yeah.
Pep, you got a story or?
Yeah, kind of an interesting story. I had go after the election. I had gone on Facebook and made a political rant, which is something I normally wouldn't do, but I was sick of a lot of people's crap on there. And there was a guy I haven't heard from, or kind of part ways a bit a long time ago, old friend of mine, and his wife got the message, forwarded it to him. Just out of the blue, he messages me, and we started talking. And I told him about my YouTube channel. I told him about, I was doing crypto, and he had not heard of Hex, but he had dabbled lightly in like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But he was intrigued, so he was watching the channel. He follows everything I do now. Him and his wife, and he got his parents onboarded into Hex. So I mean, yeah, and not only did get all those people on board, it then reunited with an old friend. So it was a win all around. Yeah,
bonus, absolutely. To you, Kurt.
I mean, well, like I want like big value ones aren't really like, they're not really fun stories, but like my fun story, because like they have money anyways, whatever. But my fun story so far has so when I was in St. Lucia before the pandemic hit for a wedding, like in January, like back in like the Hex wasn't worth nothing, and my jet ski. The guy that we rented some jet skis from on the beach for like a couple hours and just tooled them around or whatever. This kid was super cool. And then like after we took out the jet skis, him and his crew took us out. They do like a Friday street party, huge raging event for all the locals and stuff. And so we were like, we want to do that. And so we did. And his boys like took us all around, and we ended up at like the local 5 a.m, just all over the place. Things we probably shouldn't have done, but they treated us like super gentlemen, and it was super awesome, fun time. So when I came back, like I had his number still, and we chatted here and there, and I was like, man, listen, here's the hookup, and I gave him like 777,777 Hex, which like at the time was worth like it was $600 or whatever. Here's $100, bro. Like stake this shit. It'll be worth something before. And like after the whale buy happened, this kid hit me back up and was like, dog, this is worth more than like 2 years of my like what I make in a year and a half of salary, and that he's got he's staked all of it properly. He's got himself a ladder set up. Now he's gotten into crypto. Like he made it. He got uni airdrop. He got he's gotten other airdrops by like trolling in Telegram groups and getting freebies and dump them for Hex and stuff. Like, I mean, turn him onto like a whole new thing. And like this kid, like regularly is trying to make his family situation better and his life better, and knows better than even through that to not sell his Hex, man. He's like that shit's gold, So it's super cool story that like I was like randomly just like, yeah, maybe this will be something, whatever. At the time when I was in St. Lucia, I was handing out my cards to people all over the place at the time, So he was like, that's my cool story.
Is there any coincidence that your kid was born 9 months after that?
It is coincidental, but right around that time that we were trying, but it was actually straight after St. Lucia. But yeah, we just started to. We were excited. We like the wedding air, the island.
The kid was always from conception until end of time a Hexican. Always.
It's a Hexican from beginning to end. No, we're high on the excitement of everything. We made decisions we're willing to.
How about you, Tim?
Well, my favorite Hex success story actually happened yesterday.
Oh, cool.
And I met up with a friend who owns a restaurant in Pennsylvania. I worked for him in the past for a while, and he had gotten involved with Bitcoin. He bought a bag of Bitcoin because I was into Bitcoin a whole lot several years ago. And so he had bought a bag, and he bought it. I don't remember how much he paid when he bought in, but he wrote it down in the price. And now, recently Bitcoin's gone back to all-time highs, and he's like wanting to get involved in Hex. I had actually written a letter to him telling him about Hex when it first launched, and he never followed up with me. And I didn't really feel like I wanted to pressure him into getting involved because I didn't want that to interfere with our friendship. But he knew I was coming for this trip, so he wanted to get with me. And basically, we converted all of his Bitcoin into Ethereum, and he set up his first stake. And what made this particular experience my favorite is the fact that he was able to comprehend everything about Hex. Like, he wasn't confused about the shares, how to use Uniswap, how to use MetaMask. It's like he just picked up on everything. And not to toot my own horn, but he wasn't confused over what I was telling him. I was able to explain it to him in simple terms that he was able to follow along. And, that's what I enjoyed about it most. Plus the fact, just seeing the look on his face as soon as he exchanged his Ethereum for Hex, we got that big green candle like 5 minutes later. So he literally got to see.
You made that candle.
Yeah.
We know where the candle originated. That initial pump started.
So it was worth it to see the look on his face, to see the value of his Hex just go up a lot, 5 minutes after he got it. And, it was also good to see my little 15-year-old nieces when I showed them their Hex accounts and showed them, how this could very well pay for their college in 3 years. So that to see, I don't have any kids of my own, but to see two teenage girls, my brother's kids, to know that, I may have very well taken care of their future in that regard meant a lot also. It's just, you can't put a price tag on seeing that kind of happiness on someone's face.
No.
That is for dang sure. Hey, Johnny.
So now how am I supposed to follow that story, right? How am I supposed to follow that story, right?
I don't know. Maybe you can.
Sure
I don't think I can, because I haven't got to do what I want to do yet. When I get back to conventions and I start onboarding everybody I freaking know when Staker app is out, then you guys watch the green candles. That's going to be fun. But my onboarding was my brother, who was very skeptical about cryptocurrencies, very strong in the stocks. He works in the medical industry, and he also likes to gamble. And I said, here's a new game, Bob. You get to keep all your tokens. Let's play this one. He's like, I don't know. I want to get into that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into that stuff. And I got him into Hex. And I said, look, just take your casino money that you were going to spend tonight anyway, and let's throw it in here. Okay? Let's see how it does. So he only bought like $200 worth. But then again, this was when Hex was a lot cheaper. So not only did he only put $200 in, but I called him back up. I said, hey, Bob, we used Uni, didn't we? He said, yeah. I said, I got something to tell you. And I went over to his house and I showed him how to claim his Uniswap, and he got his, $1,500, and he goes, what happened here? What I said, you just got an airdrop. He's like, but I only bought $200 worth. How did that happen? What do I do with that? And he goes, is this real? I'm like, yeah, it's real. Is this price appreciation real? Yeah, you can sell it right now if you want to. And I walked him through the whole thing, and then he took half of the money from the Uniswap and he sold it immediately, deposited it in his bank. So he more than doubled his money, that he invested initially. He got the price appreciation. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to sell that other half. Maybe I better do something with that. So he got welcomed into a whole new world and a new game that is probably seems like a much better way to spend his money than gambling on the weekends. So that's pretty cool.
Outstanding.
How many more do we got, Cabana? I'm fading out. I'm fading out.
All right, we can run through these quick. I got 4.
Okay.
So this one, and this could be a rather quick one because Hex is just wonderful as it is. But looking to next year, is there a big way at all that you think Hex could improve? And I'll just throw my 1 or 2 out there, and they're obvious, and I think Johnny just touched on it right there, is the onboarding process. And to me, that's just the one that jumps straight out at me. The other one, just being in marketing, is, Richard put out one of the things in Telegram about, if you were writing headlines, how would you word certain things, or that got me thinking of like catchphrases or things like that to just try to snatch somebody's attention, but also convey to them what Hex is. And I came up with I keep going back to revolutionizing something, because to me, Hex is a revolution in a way of CD. So I'm just like, revolutionizing passive income is kind of what I was trying to game around with there. And that's the best I could do. But it's just something like that, to where if it's easily explainable to the masses in a very short and concise kind of way, not just for headline writing for press releases or articles, but just on a conceptual basis, I think that could be, huge. But yeah, getting off that, just the easier onboarding, I think Staker could be an absolute game changer. At least that's the hope. So, I'll pass it over to you, Hexon.
Yeah, Staker app, I think, and the SEO for when you search Hex. I mean, just like last night, I went on that guy's stream 2 hours after somebody gave him some Hex we rated him. Somebody gave him some Hex. 2 hours later, I go on his stream to just see, see what he's up to. And some guy's telling him, look up this site. Just Google HEX Crypto. That's all you got to do. They're a scam.
Yeah.
Worried that he's in a scam now.
Yeah.
And because he fell for, he's fallen for this stupid idiot in his chat that doesn't know anything. But the SEO, I think that would that and people getting on camera, like I said, out to the community, showing
the SEO
really show how big the community is. We start all putting our faces out there.
Absolutely, the SEO is a great point, because just at Christmas last week, I've been talking to a friend of mine, different from the buddy that I was talking about earlier, and I told him months ago about Hex, and he actually I haven't talked to him since, but he actually said, "Oh, well, I actually got in." And I was like, oh, awesome. He was like, yeah, the first thing I did was look it up, and then it was just like scam. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. He's like, I'm smarter than that. I actually did some digging, and it checked out. Like I'm into it, and I bought it. And I was like, good for you, because that's better than a lot of people. They just they're headline readers, and they're just like, nope, done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was watching the Moon Gang stuff the other night, and the one Wasabi was like, man, if it feels uncomfortable to buy a coin, that's probably the best time to buy it. And he's like, if you're buying it and you're like, I don't know if I should do this, like that's where the most risk, like that's the highest risk reward you're gonna find, So
all in on XRP, here I come.
Well, I mean, within reason, that's within reason, But, I mean, like, there's some truth to that.
Probably just delisted everywhere it is.
Yeah,
I'm going all in, bro. Selling the XRP. The XRP army.
There's some of those like full true XRP army shills, that are saying that kind of stuff. They're like, I'm accumulating as much as I can here, man.
You see any other faces?
Yeah,
what are they?
I did see a couple of them. They're idiots. They're the ones that have been like doing this for like the same ones that have been.
Well, they have a huge bag of it and they see it going down. They're like, no, get in. This is the perfect time to get in so I can dump on your head.
I just did a Google search, after clearing everything, and I think the top 5 were hexadecimal, like the explanation of the colors of RGB and that kind of stuff. The 6th one is hex. If you just put in the word hex, then the 6th one does go to hex.com. And then the next thing I see is a hex ad. Someone's placed an ad that takes you to hex.com as well. So it is improving on the SEO, on the Google search ranks. And there's people inside the community and there's people outside the community that know how to basically maximize that SEO or maximize that just the name, having popularity. So we should be doing better about that. I think again the biggest selling point to me is the face and the reading of body language of people that are inside this community, and that if we will 5x or more the price from today if we 5x or more the community. So I think the adding of the community and empowering people to have the tools and the knowledge to share, I think that's important. That's why I'm focused on that.
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, Pep, any ways
you guys pretty much nailed it right there. Is the marketing, the people getting out there and the community expanding and influencing, and then on top of that, I think the Staker app, as it evolves and it can become a one-stop shop for Hex, would be something that would be as people become aware, the ease of entry for them is important, because even people that are intrigued or interested now, some of them get discouraged because there's too many steps, between getting ETH to MetaMask to staking and gas and all this. I think if you had that one-stop shop, is possibly the Staker app would be it, and then marketing around that. I think that you'd have a mad rush at that point.
Nice. Senor Chaos, I know you are a huge proponent of Staker app and absolutely cannot wait. Is that your?
Oh, God, I can't wait. See, when Monarch added Hex, I was very excited because they have their own onboard, right? So you could purchase if you KYC through Monarch. So that would be great, except for you can't purchase Hex. You can purchase ETH, and I don't think you can even trade for Hex on Monarch yet. So I was very excited when that happened at first, but then it kind of left me empty because you can't really do what you need to do for the onboarding purposes, which, I mean, they could add at any time, which would be great. But Staker app is very much focused on getting Hex to market, and they're going to do it. And I'm happy that they're first, and I'm happy that it's in progress and it's real. It's not something that may happen. It's in process right now, is happening. And when they are able to complete it, it's going to be just as simple as having a wallet on your phone and going to your friend and saying, hey, download this app. All right, here, let me send you some Hex. Here, stake that. Now watch this over the next year. And when every Hexican goes to their friend and family, and they're not telling them to buy Hex, they're just simply giving them some of the Hex that they've already earned, that is when we're going to go viral. This is the game changer. This is the absolute game changer. And I've been hard on Firebun and Steph, and I keep poking them with a stick, telling them to do it. I even said, who's going to be first? Is it going to be Monarch, Coinbase, or Staker app going to get their act together and be the first to be the on-ramp for it? So I even picked at them a little bit about it. And, I'm not saying that I had any influence there whatsoever, because I probably didn't. They just laugh at me. But it is important to have the shortening of steps to make it less complicated for a user to get in. I mean, if you think about any getting into crypto, first you got to sign up for a Coinbase account. First you got to do this. Now with Staker app, all you have to do is download that one app, and you could give them crypto, and they can immediately start right then and there. And that's what I think is going to be brilliant. Is that RG? I can't even see. He's in the shadows there.
Yeah. He's about to come up behind me and mug me, it looks like.
He looks like a mugger, doesn't he?
It definitely looks criminal, dark alley. That looks terrible.
Yeah, what was going on there?
He's in his truck that's broke down in the desert.
I don't
Did you just rob a convenience store?
think it's working. It's not working, is it?
No, we hear you.
Yep, there it goes.
And he's froze.
I'm parked out the front of your house.
We have that much. So, yeah.
All right, I give up. It ain't working.
Dressed in black op. Like Jason Bourne or something. I don't know what he's doing over there.
Yeah, Staker app will be great. That's definitely the one thing that I'm looking forward to on the technology side. I'm really excited. Like improvements for next year. This is an easy one for me. There's been a pandemic, and I love people. Johnny's hit on this already. Events, live, in-person stuff. So like in 2021, we can have more of those, and I would like that. So.
And I have some epic ideas for a Hex convention. Just epic.
Yeah, I'm up for conventions. I'm up for festivals, all sorts of like meetups, all of that, man, everything and more. I like that's like my area of fun and expertise. Like I love throwing events. It's something that I've done for a long time. And I used to do a lot more.
Do it, please. Let me not be the person that has to go behind the things. Everyone already.
You should be like you should have like a backstage VIP pass. Okay. All access stuff. You should be like show up on stage and like wave to the people, shake a couple hands.
Yeah.
That should be.
That's wheel you out in front of all people.
You get a wheelchair.
You got a set time, and that's about it. Then the rest of it should be
because like just with this February meetup, which I love doing it, and with the last meetup, it gets so crazy for me where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like this is let's just all meet there. How about that? How about we just meet in front of this?
Honestly, that's why like actual events are so much better, because like we'll have somebody that we hire to deal with security details. So like there are, that's why there is, access levels and all that shit. So like make, us all, give the people what they want, but also be comfortable and safe in our own regards and have our own space for our own fun too. Yeah.
All right. Well, two of the last three are pretty quick. So this is kind of like the last main one. And somebody sent Richard my notes, evidently, because his last comment is directly related to this, which is really funny. But if you had a wish list for Hex in 2021, what would be at the top of it?
I see. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And my answer I had jotted down was the ability to short it. And of course, he'd commented right before that with that, which is just hilarious. But yeah, anybody else have a wish list item like that, or any different?
Yeah, $75 Hex, $50. Me and RG3 are going
just straight price. Is what you're.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, you gotta have big dreams, bro. You gotta have. You get those, let's see, for Hex. I mean, for shorting it, yeah. For not only shorting it is whatever. I want the plebs to get wrecked, these idiots. but I also want to see longs being able to just like leverage 10x with a long. I mean, that would be pretty insane as well. I mean, somebody wants to 10x their bag. If you have 100,000 hex, that means you got $1 million. How many people are gonna? How many people have 100,000 hex probably just lying around that they could put them? That they could just go long. And if you really believe in hex, I'm guessing you're probably just gonna long it. So there's gonna be a lot of longs that people are gonna try to take out.
Well, think about how enticing, and then that'll make shorting so enticing because there'll be funding for shorting. People are gonna they're just gonna taste the greed, and they can't help. They won't be able to help it.
They're gonna see these huge greed candles, and be like, "I've got to short this." Wrecked. We're gonna have to get a whale calls bot where it shows wrecked, just like how they have on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Or the big X traders where it's just wrecked. This guy's wrecked. Be awesome.
How about Pep? Anything on your radar?
I think just the more streamlined onboarding or on ramps, and probably like the stake wrap, like we talked about, and definitely the shorting platform, and maybe that could all be even integrated into that. I'm not sure. Maybe make all that a one-stop shop too, if that's possible.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And Johnny, so stake wrap again? No.
That's all I want for Hex is I want a complete staker app that allows you to purchase directly and a QR scanner like Coinbase has, so that literally I can have people download an app and give them Hex and show them how to stake it within 5 minutes, because that is going to be virality, and that is going to be onboarding like no crypto coin has ever seen or imagined or fathomed ever. There goes the market cap. As soon as that's done, this is
I agree with you.
Again, honestly, for that serendipitous feels, it would be so coincidentally amazing if both at the same time that we're released from a pandemic lockdown situation, we also have very fast onboard tool, at the same
because I know for myself, if you go up to somebody and you say, "Hey, I'll give you some hex," and they won't even probably look into it. They're not even going to Google it at that point. If you can just go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, I'll give you 5,000 hex. Here's $20." They're going to be like, "Oh snap! Hey, I already got this. Look how much it's gone up. I'm going to buy more." They're not even going to go, I'm gonna Google is Hex a scam or anything like that. They're just see that it works.
No, they're just gonna watch their account and see the results, and we have just bypassed the whole media, right?
Exactly.
That's what we have to do. We have to laterally bypass all the crap and compete separately from the crypto industry in general, right? We don't have to go by their rules if we're not playing on their field ever. We don't have to. We don't have to pay the gatekeepers. We don't have to pay the fees. We don't have to bribe or be nice to these influencers. All we have to do is simply find people that don't know what it is, give them some, and let them experience it for themselves. And they're not going to give a shit what anybody says. We don't care what anybody says because we know. We're looking at our accounts. We know what's happening, right? Yeah. That is the game changer.
I see Firebun is out of his cage from his coding cage. Speaking of stake wrap.
Yeah, ears perked up.
Steph let him out.
I said what I wanted. I didn't say what you had.
All right, 2 more. This one is near and dear to all viewers' hearts, and of course, it has to do with price. So, Hex price range 2021. What do you think we are looking at? I told Big Kirk on our stream, I guess, a week or 2 ago. My range was, I think, half a penny low end, which maybe, be awesome if we never went back there again. And I mean, it's a year away. So I went with like 12.5 cents by the end of next year. You got any moon math projections there, Hector?
Yeah, $1 to $7 is what I'm
nice.
At least 7 is 1 to 7. At least $1 though. At least $1.
Hey, I like being the conservative.
Why is he so pessimistic? He was just saying 75.
Well, I'm saying by 2023. Have you guys seen the random line? Have you
The
guys seen
random
the random
line.
line chart? I mean,
my
that's
favorite line of all.
yeah,
lines.
exactly. That's $70-something by 2023, I think. So, you know, you do with that, do with this information as you want. But
Yeah, the hex gifts I gave for Christmas, they'd all be millionaires. So
yeah,
I have trouble with predicting higher than I can conceive at this point. But again, people looking at Bitcoin that bought it for a penny never expected it to be $28,000, did they?
Right.
If they had, they would have never sold at $10 or $100 or even $1,000. They would have just held that, right? So that's where Richard's whole crypto can do more than you think. But again, I don't feel comfortable setting people's expectations like, you know, the XRP and their 589. Well, how's that working out? You know, so I don't like setting expectations. I say over or under promise, over deliver. However, in 3 to 6 months, when those wallets are empty and those stakes are finished in that 3 to 6 month period from now, it's going to be a complete different perspective, right? You know, now we look back and we see the 1 Satoshi and we're like, God, wish we would have bought more for 1 Satoshi. And now we're like arguing over a few tenths of a penny now, right? Like that's some kind of big deal when before it was like a fraction of that. We're going to have the same thing again. This 1 penny is going to be a fraction. So yes, very well, we could be anywhere from 10 cents to $1. That's actually very realistic. It's not unheard of. I know we'll do at least, I believe absolutely we will do at least 50 cents. You know, it's inevitable. It's just a matter of when, and these things take time. So, you know, we just have to see how it plays out. We have to see if people become more educated about what it is that they're holding, and they have to not be willing to separate themselves from it until it reaches a mature price. That's the only kicker. You can't control people from being dumb, right?
yeah.
So I initially have been always lowballed on, like, you know, I've always been like, I didn't think we'd hit a penny before the end of the year. I didn't think that was going to happen. So, I mean, if I went with what I initially thought, you know, I was like, if we go to 3 to 5 cents, I'd be, you know, smitten like a kitten, you know, but I'm going to have to go with, you know, he's been calling good ones all along. So like, I really love Litecoin's, you know, dollar costs feels on like 10 to 25 cents being a reality. That they feel like that's 10 to 50 cents is like a little crazy, but 10 to 25 cents I feel like is totally very, very possible, if not higher. I mean, and now to do a little quick on-stream moon math with you, if Hex was to beat Bitcoin just finished doing a 2.8 million X. You know, we're down a little bit from 28,000, but that's what it did, is a 2.8 million X. So if Hex was to do a 2.8 million X, that would be about 156 X from 56 cents. Or I mean, that would be another 280x from 56 cents, which would put Hex at a price of about $156 per Hex. So if we wanted to beat the X's that Bitcoin has done over the years, I don't know how long it'll take us to do that.
No. Say 1 year.
So in 1 year, I do think that 50 cents is attainable. I think that like the game is beating Ethereum. The game really has been beating Ethereum's run in 2.5 years. Ethereum did a 10,000x, and we want to beat that, right? And like that would mean by March, April, somewhere around there of next year, we want to be knocking on the 56 cent door, you know? So what sets us up for that is by the end of next year being at somewhere between 10 and 25 cents at least, you know, that'll set us up for that.
There is a factor that we're not taking into consideration here, though. The fact the Ethereum now has futures tradings, right? And that is going to exponentially affect the growth of Hex. So that 56 cents should be fairly easy to achieve.
Well, what does Big Pep speculate for 2021? We have a
I get this question every week on my live streams almost, and I've been saying for a while that because of the state of the world more than anything to do with Hex, I'm rather conservative estimate around 10 cents by late next year. Now, looking at some of the sell pressure is not as severe at this point in time. I mean, I could speculate up to maybe 25 cents, pushing it, going anything beyond that, because I would expect more sell pressure around that time. But the bigger thing I would be concerned about is just the whole state of the world and markets. And if there's any setbacks going into next year, there's also some other things with Finance 1.0 and the markets that are already at all-time highs. There's a lot of recoveries factored in, and there's real estate and other things that could make people a little reluctant to invest in something like crypto. But on the flip side, you do have all that press around Bitcoin and crypto and this sector as a whole. And we don't, Richard's done this on his streams too. There's already ETH and wallets in HEX that could, hit these price points we're all discussing. Whether that moves or not remains to be seen. Don't know, but I mean, apparently it's already in the space. So I think it's just a lot of factors more in the world, not so much with HEX. What I would say though is the dollar price point is indefinite. I think the 50 cents, all that stuff is within the next year or two. But if we have a mad recovery and we go into that roaring 20s mode, like late next year, then all bets are off. I mean, we may hit the dollar price point by the end of next year. But conservatively, I'd say 10 to 25 cents.
And that's basically what I meant.
I agree with Big Pep out of what's been said so much. And again, it's about the world economy, about the asset classes in general. The United States and other countries will want to turbo back to a high GDP metric so that they can show that they did something better in 2021 and beyond, to make up for 2020. They're hopeful to continue the game of fiat printing. So, I think that above 50%, I think above 50 cents is possible. I'm still conservative in general, just because, I think Johnny was saying 2.8 million is hard to put your head around, even though it's happened. 10,000x is hard to put your head around, even though it's happened. You have examples right now in the marketplace and people that are wealthy because they held onto things that had that kind of multiple. So you have examples. You're not the pioneer in the space. You're not the brand new cat that could do, million X over the next 10 years, or whatever. So over this next year, I would say my middle point is 25 cents. That's my middle. My high end, by the time of the end of next year, I would say 50 cents for that. Yeah.
Did you guys see the random line? Did you see the random line? The random line, all right? Well, read it.
But it is just that. Here's the random line.
Richard Hart. Look what happened.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I've been like, again, every time I've speculated on this shit so far, I've been low. I've been lowball on this, I mean, same thing in 2017 and 2018. Like, I didn't think it could go as low as it did. I was like, there's no way it can. Oh, it can. So.
Well, I mean, look, if we go from if we did a 260x already, and yes, it's going to take a lot more, money to get into HEX to do another 266x. But if we do another 266x, I mean, that's putting us at what, $2.66? Well, close to it at least. I mean, that's.
Well, the fact that it's
I'm guessing we want to be the highest appreciating asset for 2 years in a row. I'm guessing somebody wants that to happen.
Bitcoin's on like well over 100 exchanges, right? And so to move that price point and make it double, triple, quadruple, and things like that takes a lot of economic energy, a ton to move Bitcoin higher. Whereas on Uniswap, the math is the math is the math. I mean, it's a four quadratic, right? So it has this multiple factor to it. So even though I have a hard time with the math, not being a mathematician or being the reality of being in a crypto that performs this well as HEX has, it still is fantastic to me to think 50 cents, $1, $7, or Hexo's conservative guess of $75 by spring of 2021.
Very conservative.
Well, here's the kicker, though, Gary. Like, we mentioned Godwell there has $63 million worth of ETH, which is actually more than $63 million worth of ETH now because it's like doubled.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's way more than probably like that was back in April, which was like
right.
So
literally,
$100 ETH. So
yeah, $43 million moves us to $1.
Yes.
You know, and that's one dude with, you know, that kind of economic energy that staked for 15 years and is going to want to protect his own price. Just one dude. So there's all these stupid little factors that it's almost impossible to predict, because these guys, it's not like we just have, you know, people that don't have money in HEX. We've got people that have stupid amounts of money in HEX, and they're going to be watching their HEX perform. And just like the guys that claimed with large majorities of Bitcoin, they are watching HEX outperform their Bitcoin stack, right? What is to prevent them from just saying, you know, this account here is making me more money than here. Maybe I should allocate some money from this account to this account. And it could be one of those things where it becomes like an avalanche and hits us to, you know, that's why I've got such a broad range. That's why I'm saying, well, it could be 10 cents. If nothing happens, it will probably be 10 cents. If somebody pulls the trigger and starts an avalanche, then we could very much well be at $1, and it'll hit us so quick, we won't know what the hell that happened. All we'll know is we were whining and bitching and moaning over a couple pennies, and then it's going to be $1 on us.
Well, the value perception normalizes. So it normalizes. So you have people right now that live in single-family residences in Beverly Hills worth more than $200 million. They live by themselves with a $200 million piece of real estate. Why does it have $200 million value? Because of perception. People have the perception around it, and they say, "Oh, my house is 1/4 of that size. It must be 1/4 of the value." So it's the same sort of thing. When people have a buy pressure, you have a God whale. They set the price. They end up setting a price. It takes a little bit of a trickle down, but people normalize and say, "Oh, a penny is normal now, right? 10 cents is normal now. $1 a hex is normal now." So you have these events that basically set the cornerstone for the value perception of any asset class. Why is gold worth thousands of dollars per ounce? Because people say so. That's why, right? Why did they say so? Because somebody else bought at that price and then they didn't sell, right?
But if we look at just the cryptocurrencies that exist, why is XRP still 17 cents and HEX is only less than a penny? I mean, think about that just for a second. I mean, we could look at market cap, but why did Neo?
I remember a time when XRP was at a similar price. I remember it was 2
I talk about it all the time. 0.003. It went from 0.00.
Hundreds of thousands of XRP at a very cheap price, and so when it went to like 3 cents, I was like, sold that shit, you know.
So XRP, as an example, is not moved their technology forward in a meaningful way to affect
Not at all.
They just have the same narrative. So their narrative, they can broadcast to more people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are delivering anything useful to the world. You know, if they could technologically make banking cheaper and faster and all the banks get on board, don't you think the banks would have already gotten on board? They've been hearing this narrative for like 8 years now. Don't you think they already we can save so many millions of dollars if we just take on this XRP thing? They already have done the analysis. They're not doing it.
Well, and I talk about it. It went from 0.003 dollars XRP did to $3.31 in 1 year. So it took 356 days or something like that to get up to $3.31 from 0.003, which we were just at just a couple weeks ago. So it's like, I have no problem with saying $7 because I mean we actually have a working product.
75.
Richard talks about it where it'll go up a lot higher than we all think it will. He says, look at these glorious, amazing green. You guys are going to be like flabbergasted that you saw that one. You know, these 4Xs. You think that that's high, like. From what I
more people will buy at $1 than they will be at a penny because now it has a dollar value instead of a penny value, and it does create this cascade.
Yeah, just believe, just listen to Richard Hart. Just
you know who's going to have the easiest
my
time?
body's ready. I'm ready to go. Take me to Saturn, Richard.
You know, the easiest time is the people that are locked, the people that are staked. They're the ones that have the easiest time to actually realize those gains. Look how many more people would be millionaires in Ethereum if they had a locking component years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Look how many more people would be extremely wealthy, or how much higher Bitcoin price would be if they had a locking component that had this novel staking mechanism. You know, it's amazing.
Absolutely. All right, we got one more, if I can find it. Where did it go? All these comments are rolling by. Hexos fading.
Fading.
Last one. This is just overall. What is your prediction? What could be the biggest surprise in Hex for 2021? So obviously the talk is naturally goes to price, but why could it get there, or does Hex get listed on an exchange, or do we actually get, you know, shorting or anything like that? You know, one of the things I always toy with in my mind is like, okay, well, what if there's a supply shock and it lasts more than just a couple days, like the OA did around Big Payday, and you go from tens or hundreds of millions of Hex that's not locked to just, or billions, I should say, just a few billion or something like that, and that's it. Like it's locked up, and that supply shock could, you know, trigger. Yeah, it would take down market cap, but at the same time produce a scarcity that, you know, that market cap wouldn't matter to people that are holding.
Nope.
But it's just fun to think about.
I think that that's one of the big things that, like you said, the biggest surprise. So it's going to be that we prove that market cap is just completely wrong, because I think that Hex is not only going to surpass it, but it's going to stay up there for a long period of time. It's not just going to be like surpass it and, you know, like these other coins that just, you know, they manipulate the market cap, where they buy or they have a bunch of fake volume or whatever, and that's how they get the high market cap. It's going to stay up there for weeks, maybe a month or a couple of months,
organically.
Yeah, organically, and people are going to start looking at it like, dude, what is going on? You know, and that's going to put a lot of eyes on the Hex when we're all, you know, us Twitter bots are over there like, Hex is number one, you know, and they already noticed us, guys. Hexo fakes his death on possibly, Rocks. Yeah, it depends on how high the price is. Then it's all over. Mass adoption, possibly, man. I mean, what? What?
It's getting late.
My prediction is
My
prediction, or whatever. Was it about a prediction? Or it's the biggest surprise of 2021, right?
Correct. Yeah.
The biggest surprise of 2021 is we're going to discover what we suspected all along, is that Richard Hart is an AI. He's actually the evolved version of Max Headroom from the 80s. Computing processing power has made it more real and more CGI and more awful. But yeah, that Richard Hart really isn't a human being in a castle somewhere in Bavaria.
Well, we already know that. He's a reptile.
Yeah, he's not a reptile either. He's just a fictional AI. He's not a real guy.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I like the sci-fi.
I think we're going to see some major revolution in the staker app, some big enhancements, probably some of the stuff we've all been discussing, maybe a few surprises, and possibly a new referral program.
Kurt, referral
Biggest surprise. Man, it's a tough one.
Because you don't know, because it's a surprise.
I don't know. It's a surprise, you know. So like,
you want to be Hextravaganza?
Good things for Hex all the way. So like, some small country decides to make it their reserve currency. Sure, no big thing. I saw that coming all along. You know, mass adoption. Duh. I wouldn't have gotten on just this train otherwise. You know, so like all my big surprises would be like in my work. Like I like kind of fears, I guess. Or like what, you know, but I don't really. None of them are really, you know. I don't know. I guess the price goes higher than I expected. I don't know. I don't know.
I like that one. That's the best one you got.
Honestly, okay. Here's one. I don't know if this is a surprise or not, but like I don't think it's a surprise, really, for us at least. I don't think 40% staking percentage, 40% APY is going to be where we end at the end of the year. I think like end of next year, We are at 20% staking. There's 20% APY. That's what I think, or lower.
Yeah,
that's what I think. If you want a surprise, I guess. I mean, but yeah. Other than that, we have some. We get some big. I got everything that I think that is not really. We maybe get some big names. That show it. Cone Maze gets a hex tat. There you go. That's.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Surprises. What would be like your, somebody that you think that might turn one influencer that you think might turn, to Hex that has been very anti-Hex.
Hexo goes rogue.
No, Peter McCormick's one of.
He's got one. Give him a second.
Peter McCormick is going to make a public apology for how he's treated Richard.
Biggest surprise.
That would be the biggest surprise
right there.
And then an asteroid.
Yeah, that's good.
It. That would surprise me more than anything.
I think we'll see the $75 hex first, but
yeah.
That.
All right, well, awesome. We've reached.
We gotta get Johnny.
Oh,
yeah. What's your surprise?
My biggest surprise.
all right. All right.
Takes him off.
Yeah.
I guess you'll have to tune in next time to get that surprise.
Super surprised.
Oh, he just left. Come on, man.
Oh, jeez. You gotta really lengthen this one out. I'm like over here like
cliffhanger.
A cliffhanger.
So,
We'll have to tune into Johnny's live stream tomorrow, I'm guessing. Is that what we're gonna have to do?
Yeah, he went to the bathroom.
If you're wrapping up, I'm interviewing Rye Guy, one of the co-founder people of Hex Toys, on Thursday. So I have a one-on-one with him. And then I do have some other people in the queue because I'm trying to go on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. And it's mostly just going to be one-on-ones for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, but that's all I've got going on this next week or so.
cool. Yeah, I was gonna turn it over to the Shillet segment. So, Hexologist, do you have a channel or anything that?
This goes to my Twitch channel now. So if you guys just go to Hex.Doctor, it goes to my Twitch channel. That's Twitter at Hexologist. No referral link anymore, not yet. And that's it. Go follow me. You could win 1.5 million hex like Ski Cat gave away yesterday. Yeah, on my channel, 1.5 million hex yesterday. So $12,000 just yesterday on channel, and it was just out of the blue. He was just like, "Hey, let's give away 50 or a million hex," and then he added another 500,000. So be subscribed.
Pep, where can we find you?
Big Pep on YouTube and Big Pep Crypto on Twitch. Big Pep Crypto on Twitter.
Captain Kirk.
Big Kurkowski on Twitter, Dlive, Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. You can find me, Big Kurkowski. I'm going to probably do a little breakdown either the 4th or the 5th when the stakes come out for the Fantasy Football League, which I won, so whatever. No, but there's everybody, everybody's getting, there's places to pay it out till 5th, so we'll talk about that and everything. Also, Bingo Earth starts up again next year, probably beginning of January. We'll start up. So we'll have a more regular schedule too. I think my awkward one every third Sunday was really goofy, so I think I'll have a more regular schedule for that. People are like, "Well, every third what?" Nobody remembered that. So yeah, Bingo Earth at Bingo Earth or Bingo.Earth. You can find me. Charity Bingo. Come play. You win some hex.
Awesome. Tim, what you got going on, man?
Well, I'm on Twitter. If you just do a search for Timothy Benjamin, that'll probably find me easier than my actual Twitter handle because it's the letters TB and then the word Dunamis, which is DUNAMIS. If you're not familiar with it, just like I said, it'd be easier just to search for my name on there. I mainly post on Twitter. That's my main go-to right now. I have a YouTube channel also under my same name, Timothy Benjamin. I try to make videos now that I'm free from work. I should have some more time to do that after I get home. So, but yeah, Twitter and YouTube are my go-to. things.
Awesome. And Senor Chaos, would you like to tell us where we can find you? And please go ahead with your surprise.
I'm afraid the surprise has ended. I can't share that.
He's gonna have to wait.
and you're gonna have to work for it. And if you want to find me, you're also gonna have to work for it, because I'm not trying to do this. I'm only doing my commitment. I will be following up, and I will be on the Hex convention that Maddie is putting together.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I will be there. I will be on there on Thursday.
That's like,
Is that schedule released? I gotta look at that actually.
Yes, the schedule was released. I'm on a panel with some smart people talking about staking.
Shit, I gotta see what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm talking about yet, but I'm sure I got it covered because I can talk.
Yeah.
that you can, sir. All right, amigos. Thank you to everybody for coming on, and yeah, it was absolute blast putting a bow on the year, and can't wait for 2021. So it's gonna be all great.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers, y'all. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Laters.
See ya.